Please show me an hour with Valentino and Joe Pay. New York Guinea is on the loose. New York Guinea is on the juice. New York Guinea is all the truth. Please enjoy our show and maybe your masseuse is listening too, so give her a splooge. Greg and Joe, Joe and Greg, Joe and Greg, Greg and Joe. I can't come up with any lyrics, so just start the fucking show, bro. And let's hope our two guineas aren't a no-show. So now let's go.
Here we go once again. It is a Wednesday. Do they still call it Hump Day, Greg? Remember they used to say
Every day's hump day for me.
Oh, every day it's fucking Pump Day for me. So I don't know.
Every
But
day's hump day.
I remember the like the Z Morning Zoo. Oh, it's Hump Day, you know, because it's like the middle of the work week, and there's people sitting in the 9 to 5 traffic, and oh Christ.
I used to love listening to the morning radio shows all the time. Yeah, they were good back then. I don't know what they are now. Is there even like radio shows anymore like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is some. I mean, Howard was the big, you know, the morning guy, and then when Opie and Anthony moved into the morning, that was my my guys. But I'm gonna do it like this week. I had the surprise with the song. I have another little. Hang on a sec.
There he is. C8, what are you doing?
I tested negative for both types of herpes. There you go.
There you go.
As
I wish I
was.
did. I wish I tested negative.
If I can get this fucking mouse to go. All right, let's look at the banners. Now, Greg has no idea about this, guys. So this is a new reveal. Just boom.
Full life sponsoring. Oh, shit. So we get a sponsor.
Ourselves.
Nice.
It's done, but it's done, but it's done. You know what I'm saying? We're starting next week. You will be getting a care package in the mail from the boys over at Swole Life, spelled with the L-Y. So the name of the show starting next week will be Swole Life presents the Greg and Joe Show.
I love it. I need to live the Swole Life. I need to live.
You're gonna like the gear because they have a cool hat that says "Make America Swole Again." Like
I like
MAGA.
that.
So so they're good guys. They're good. I was on the phone working out the deal. It's pretty much a done deal. So I told them I'm gonna tease it on this week, but we're gonna start next week officially, and I'll talk to you off air how it's.
So wait a minute. So Joe, let me get this straight. So it wouldn't be racist for us to say massa. Yo, yes, massa. Make America swole again, right?
I guess if we do it with a certain accent, it might be deemed. It's who cares? Go fuck yourself if you don't like it. How's that? But I'll talk to you about that because you're getting a raise.
I like it, dude. I love a raise.
So do I.
A raise gets me a rise.
So that's cool. So thank you to the guys over at Soul Life, Lawrence and
Thank
Boys.
you, Massa. Thank you, Massa.
Thank you, Massa. You'll be getting some of their, supplements and stuff like that. So we'll be showing them on camera and stuff. But I don't know if we'll have them in hand next week. But they're gonna, as far as the name of the show and the graphics and the promotionals and all of that good stuff, Swole Life will be bringing you Greg and Joe every fucking Wednesday here on Muscle Sport TV, YouTube live. So
we'll be living the swole life.
The swole, remember? Living the jack life, living the swole life.
Living the jack life. Now we're living the swole life.
We can still live the jack and swole life. So good news from Hoog. He tested negative, even though he thought he had the herp. God bless.
That a boy.
That's good. We always like to. And Miranda writes.
Miranda writes.
What type of herpes does Gregorio have? That's up to you. That's your business.
I feel, it's sexually transmitted because I don't get it on the mouth or wherever else, but I get it on the Picholi God. I don't really take even
cigarette
medicine for it.
burns.
I take yes, it's like putting a cigarette out on my dick. And it's a Simplex 1 or Simplex 2 or whatever it is. It's not the same one that you get with a cold, which is herpes, like a cold sore.
Yes, technically it is. Yeah. Cold
but it's a little different because it only comes out on the fucking Picholi God there. You know what I'm saying? Oof. So I've had it for so long. I was, I think, 18 when I got it. So you're looking at, I'm going to be 65. So however many years that is, I can't even do the math.
Couple of years. It is a Skin Showcase. Welcome back again, Skin, and welcome, of course, to Seattle. And Miranda writes, it's the first time I remember that name, and thank you for the show. The type that trannies carry. I guess he's saying
he means trannies. You don't get that.
Okay.
I think that's what he means. Or trannies. I get it. It's a play on words like trend and then trannies. They call it whatever.
Trenbolone sandwich. Seattle, Hoog. I came home from Thailand close to 3 months ago. I had some weird funk on both sides of my mouth. But yesterday I tested negative. I wonder what the weird stuff is if it wasn't herpes. Tummy pancakes.
Well, wait a minute. Hoog or CH, my brother. If you got it out there in Thailand, and we know what's in Thailand, but everybody
yes,
you weren't putting them out where it doesn't belong.
I hope not. You should never put your mouth on a stranger unless you picked her up in the discotheque in the 90s in Brooklyn.
Right. You could listen. It's okay to give them. It's okay to give them a little spam, ham in a can, right? Spam, a little bit of ham in a can, right? That's fine. If you wanted to friggin', get a BJ or whatever else you want, that's okay. But don't be sticking your mouth down there. That's no good.
No, because you'll be fucking. It's almost like you're eating a fucking load fucking hero. Hold on, let me say I skipped that. Richard Hallowell, how about all the information coming out about Harris and Biden and the books coming out? Oh, basically that he was a fucking weekend at Bernie's. It's nothing that we didn't know as a country and as a world, I guess. But now their side is finally admitting such. So
I'm going to give you guys a little something right now, right? Listen to me. Yesterday I did a show on RX, and I've been texting Dave. Hopefully he listens to me, but they put up a thumbnail. Dave, we like to put up thumbnails sometimes to get people to watch the show. And we had Anthony Roberts on, who's a good guy. I know Anthony forever. Okay, we know Anthony. You know Anthony.
We were talking to him at the Bob's thing years ago.
Right. Yes. Anthony's a good guy. Okay. But
very knowledgeable. Yep.
That whole thing about Jerry Ward and I can't speak for Boston Lloyd, but I can only speak for Jerry Ward, is not accurate because I talked right now, Erin, who talks to my girlfriend all the time. And
they're very good friends.
Almost every day. That's okay.
Yep.
And Erin is a very smart girl. She was the driving force behind Jerry. Trust me, with a lot of stuff. Yes, Jerry was his own man, and Jerry was my friend. And Jerry and I talked about everything but bodybuilding. Okay, we talked about you name it. She even said when he passed away, she actually did a whole video saying, one of the things I'll never forget is Gregg Valentino and Jerry talking. I'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? Because we've been talking about everything on the phone. And as Joe knows, it's hard to get me off the phone because I don't shut up. Okay. And if Joe Zapata's watching this, I know Joe Zapata's saying, holy shit, okay? No truer words have been said. But the thing is, Erin is very upset because none of that stuff is accurate. The feds came to his house, okay? And they had no choice but to open the door for them. And they said, listen, we just want to talk to you. We want to know what this stuff is with the arms. Because Jerry was like an expert. So was, what's his name? Boston Lloyd, who actually, I guess, owned part of a company or so. I don't know too much about that shit. Okay. So I'm not going to stick my 2 cents in about that. But I said yesterday on the show when they were talking about this, they made it look like, oh my God, rats. Nobody got arrested. There was nobody ratting on anybody. Okay, it was almost like, if you're an expert on something, they came to you, you go on the internet and you start saying, I'm an expert on SARMs and this and that. If you get a knock on the door one day, even if you don't sell that shit and they say, listen, you know, you're this expert. We want to talk to you. Tell us what the deal is with all this. There's no ratting. There was nobody ratting. There's nobody went to jail. He didn't rat on any specific person. He didn't help destroy a company. All that is not true. Okay. So
who's been saying that about Jerry and or Boston?
Well, Anthony said he uncovered some papers saying that they were informants. You can't use the word informant when you didn't rat on somebody. Do you understand? Like, nobody got to jail. That didn't lead to any arrest for some individual or any of that shit. Okay. He did not rat on anybody, you know, and it's hurting his name. The guy's dead. You guys can't, he can't throw his 2 cents in. And, you know, I was going to tell Erin to come on with me and you, but she has to work. She works, you know, she works for heart surgeon. And when they're putting a new heart in somebody's body, she's one of the head nurse that stands there in the operating room with that doctor. She's like an elite nurse.
That's a pretty fucking big spot.
Yes, she's not just, you know, some nurse can sit there, take your blood pressure and shit. Okay. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend drives her crazy. Anytime there's a sniffle over here, she says, you know, whatever. But I'm telling you now, she's very upset. And, you know, I told Dave,
I don't blame her.
Get that shit down. It's not an accurate story. Whether, you know, just because you talk to somebody, it's almost like if a cop knocked on your door, said, listen, the fucking, your next door neighbors and everybody on this block's been getting robbed. We want to talk to you about that. We want to see, what do you know? What do your cameras have? What do you see? Do you know anything about these robberies? Do you know, your house wasn't robbed. Is there a reason for that? No, whatever. That's all that was. There was nothing more than that. There's nobody. Go do your due diligence, find paperwork. Even my boy Johnny Bravo, who I'm good friends with, okay, you know, way before all this bullshit here. And Johnny even said, I'm not too happy about this. You know what I mean? Because it's not, you can't release a story. Make, you know, and Dave puts the fucking goddamn, you know, and I'm not throwing Dave under the bus. He's my boy. But, you know, you can't put the thumbnail out there and make a guy look like, you know, he ratting on people when he's not a rat. Okay, you can't make that look like that because the internet masturbates to this shit. You know what I'm saying, Joe? They love it. They sit there and he's a rat. You know, who did he rat on? Nobody. Okay.
So
and information. Joe, you were a detective. Sometimes you talk to people that weren't part of the crime, but you got to get to, you know, you got to know what it helps you to kind of paint the picture of what's going on. Am I correct?
You talk to, it's called canvassing for witnesses or information. You basically knock on every door in the fucking neighborhood where there was a crime committed. Now, in this case, it's not a specific, you know, crime that happened on a fucking street corner. This is, I guess, they were just looking for information on these compounds that Jerry
because the companies,
about.
I think because they were, you know, involved with companies and stuff. I don't know the whole story about that part. Okay, but I do know that even Erin said I can prove. Erin has proof that there was no arrests. Jerry wasn't in any trouble. Nobody got arrested because of anything Jerry said. They basically was an information thing on what are these SARMs or not SARMs, peptides or whatever the fuck. All that shit. Listen, all you guys watching this shit, Joe, I get these young kids in the gym. What's that? Yeah, Joe, it's so
bullshit.
I get these kids in the gym, Joe, they're asking me about, like, you know, steroids and shit. When I tell them, don't fuck with it. You're 18 years old. Go masturbate. Your testosterone will be produced. And you think, well, then what about SARMs or what about those peptides? I'm like, dude, do you think Mr. Olympia sits there and says, holy shit, we're going to get Ligandrol? You know, no. I can tell you that, no. They don't fuck around. They use the real deal. You know what I'm saying? That's like Joe saying, let's go rob a store. I got a BB gun. He gives me a BB gun. What are you going to use with a BB gun? Yeah, if I shoot somebody else, it's going to sting, but it's not going to stop anybody. You know what I mean? You're going to use the heavy artillery. So I'm just saying. So
I didn't see the episode. I didn't see the episode. I wish I did so I could, you know, comment on what you're talking about. I don't have any independent knowledge. It is the first I'm hearing all of this stuff. You know, I know Jerry not as good as you did. You know, he wrote for the magazine for us and all of that stuff. I met him a million times at shows and things like that. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. His wife was a sweetheart. She was always by his side, very good person. You guys had a great relationship, the 4 years, you know, with your girlfriend and Jerry's wife, and then you, Jerry. So I don't know what the fuck happened. I can't say anything. I know that Anthony Roberts, he does a lot of investigative stuff, as does Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
So you got Anthony saying one thing and Johnny saying another. But that's a label that's a tough label to put on somebody. And especially, like you said, the fucking guy can't defend himself. He's gone.
Right. And it's not that Anthony Roberts told a story, was bullshitting. I'm not saying that. Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying is that Aaron even said, listen, feds came to the door, but they wanted information on like, what is this shit? He sat and talked. That's it. He actually made friends with them. There was no arrests. It wasn't leading to arrests. Like Joe said, it's canvassing. It's like kind of you're gathering information to see what the hell are we dealing with here, especially if you're on the internet. Okay. And you start saying things that promote like that possibly that knowledge about. Like back then they didn't know any knowledge of the whole SARMs and peptide shit. Right, kind of new. So they go to a guy who's supposed to be an expert. Like, what is this stuff? What are you talking about? What does it do? You know what I mean? There's no arrests though. There's no problems. Jerry wasn't in any trouble. He wasn't secretly fucking arrested. None of that shit happened. That I can say for a fact. She has proof too, and she'll release it. So, but the thing is, I tell Dave, please, Dave, pull the fucking thing down, because he puts up, dude, he's done shit with me. I'll put up if they put up a thumbnail and it looks like Henny Penny, the world's falling. You know what I mean? And you can't, make it look like, like you got federal informants. Like these guys are like sitting there, like pointing fingers. There was no finger pointing. You understand?
Louis Estronzata, Louis Gacaron. He's a Gacaron, Greg. You know what I fucking say.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Exactly what I'm saying. Now, okay, let me ask you a question. Again, I don't know anything about it, so this is a real question. And you may not know the answer. Maybe it didn't come out during the show. Anthony Roberts says he had some information. He got some paperwork saying that these authorities, these federal authorities, I don't know if they were the DEA or whoever, spoke to Jerry. Okay, what did he tell them? What was on the paperwork? If there's no names, then we know there was no fucking.
There was no names. Anthony didn't name any names. Okay,
so did he have the paper and like show it?
I think he has. I think he's seen papers. I think all it was an information gather. It was an information gather. Listen, if you say like I'm an authority on robbing houses, and there's been a lot of houses in this neighborhood being robbed, and you're an authority on that shit, and you might have information, cops are going to talk to you and they're going to say, listen, you came out on the internet, you said a lot of houses are being robbed, and I know about robbing houses and shit like that, and you say they're going to want to. They're not thinking that you're the guy robbing, but they might want to know what you know or how they can proceed. Listen, this is a new thing. Joe, you and I have been in this business a long time. Even I'm not no fucking expert on SARMs or peptides. I don't. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah,
right.
Very different.
So the feds don't. They didn't know about all this shit. So you go to two guys on the internet that are like authorities on this shit. You understand? That's all that is. It's an information gather, not information on other people, on human beings. Just what is this shit? What are we up against? Is this something we should worry about? It's not. I don't even think it's not even illegal. It's a gray area thing. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to. You can say I'm doing research in a lab. You know what I mean? It's not. So it's not like that.
Yeah. And Hugo de Claus, thank you. I'm looking at it right now. The thumbnail has a picture of Boston, a picture of Jerry, and it says informant ? And then after hours. That is in journalism, they call that fucking low blow. Fucking when you put a question mark on something, the whole point in being a journalist is to fucking take the question marks away. You fucking do your own research, independent. If somebody shocks you with the fucking story as you get them on the show and you didn't know, that's fine. You could take the story, take it on face value, and go, all right, but follow it up. Follow it up. You're the fucking guy. You know everything in fucking bodybuilding, Dave. Follow it up. Don't fucking slander people like fucking Boston and Jerry who are fucking gone and they can't tell them to go fuck themselves.
Right. Now, listen, I agree. That's what I'm saying. And Dave is not, Dave is a good guy. Get along great with him. He's my boy. But,
Informants reveal is in the fucking title. So informants, first of all, if I'm doing my fucking job as a fucking journalist and Anthony Roberts says I have information, I'm going to say, you got to quote it or I got to see it. Okay, Anthony, that is a fucking a big, that's a, okay, then let's see it. Post it. If you got a fucking 302 or whatever from the fucking FBI or something, because that's a 302 is an informant sheet by FBI when they give up when guys are giving up people and info, right? It's like a confidential informant fucking form. You gotta fucking, what's on it? If it says Agent so-and-so interviewed Jerry Ward on this day and he said that peptides are one step away from steroids and the body turned into this, and he had no idea about who was making and or selling said product. So what? The fuck did he didn't do anything. They could have watched one of his videos and found that out.
That's what I'm saying. I think that when you come on the internet and you're an expert on something, you know what I'm saying? You go and you talk to people, somebody who wants to know about that's going to ask you about it. If you had a friend that's in this super mechanic, an expert mechanic, and you're having trouble with your car, you can't figure out what the fuck's going on. You call your friend, bro, I'm fucking around with this car. I don't know if it's a carburetor. I don't know what the hell it is. Your friend's going to say, do this, do that, do this, do that, because he's an expert. Basically, that's what they did. They went to the experts to find out what this shit was, but they did nothing. Jerry, I know for a fact, did not have any specific person arrested or any of that stuff, nor was he arrested, okay, and secretly squeezed, okay? So he was not arrested. He wasn't, like secretly squeezed. They wanted information, and you can't tell these guys, fuck you. They're not coming to you with malice. They're not shoving a badge in your face saying, you better fucking talk or we're going to rock, They didn't do that. That's not what they did. So it's, basically they educated the fucking, that they, now that's not a rat in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If nobody got hurt, it's got locked up from it. It's not a fucking crime. That's the way I look at it.
I have to obviously, and I want to look into this more because it is quite interesting. And I do want to defend both of these guys because both of them worked with us. I used to talk to Boston all the time. We talked about when his fucking son was born. We were talking about living with a child, how the difference between boys and girls, if he had other kids, how things are going to be different with Jackson and the next kid, if they did have another baby, if it was a girl. I would talk to him about parenting and the stages the baby was going through. And I'm like, I didn't talk about fucking same thing. I didn't talk about fucking bodybuilding. Give two fucks. He sent me his column. I was good enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about anything but, and Jerry, when I used to see him at the fucking expos and shit, we didn't sit there. Oh, did you do tries today, Jerry? You got any new exercises for me?
Yeah, what juice are you on? Should I be taking tests with Deco? Should I be trying to? Yeah, you get that
D-ball.
What you guys
to me, Greg, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but I'm just fucking really. I use one of your famous Stu's My Clams, one of your things that you like to say a lot, right? This pisses me off because Dave was friends with both of these fucking guys, right or wrong? Was there a falling out that I'm?
No, there was no falling out. But it's the way it was presented on that show. I felt like was not accurate, made it look really bad. You got two guys that are dead. They've been dead now for like 5 or more years, you know what I mean? Or around that.
In a while.
And they can't defend themselves, and there was no crime. It's not like, holy shit, when Joe Matarazzo got arrested? That's because Jerry Ward ratted it. Dave even said yesterday that Boston Lloyd used to tell me, I've talked to the feds. They're telling me this, so I'm telling them about this, that, the other. He never said, I was arrested by the feds, and now they want to put me in jail, so I ratted on Joe Matarazzo. They never did that. And what you guys don't understand out there, by the way, is that Jerry Ward, Boston Lloyd, Rich Piana, all wrote for this magazine, have been on the cover of this magazine, MSM, Muscle Sport Mag. They've all been on the cover. They've all had columns in the magazine, right? You got even Boston Lloyd.
Boston, right? This is the three guys right here. The memorial issue.
Holy shit, right there.
That's the memorial issue with the guys that passed away. I reprinted the stories of them because those issues were sold out. And that's back in 2015 and 16. That's 10 years ago. The Boston and Rich and Jerry was 16.
Boston's boy still writes for you right now, right? Tyler Bauman.
Yeah,
right?
Tyler.
Tyler
He's hysterical.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's a good guy, and he'd be the first one to. Boston didn't.
He did about fucking 3 or 4 years in the can.
Yeah,
you know, he used to give me the column. I used to have to go to Core Links. It was a inmate email system, and he would send me the column that way, and then I would mail him the magazine.
That's the whole thing. I think that people don't understand. Okay, you guys don't. You know, it's not. I'm not saying Anthony Roberts did anything wrong. Okay, so don't get me wrong on that. Okay, and I'm not saying, you know, I just don't like the way the thumbnail came out and the way it was. You know, you should always present the other side to that too. You know what I mean? You got to present the other side, because I know that Jerry's not put anybody in jail.
But listen, the first thing I would ask Anthony Roberts is, what did the paperwork say? If you're coming out on this program and he gets a lot of fucking views, I would kill for his fucking views, right? Across his board. He gets great views, and that's a testament to the work he's put in. I've always, you know,
Anthony Roberts is a great guy. I like Anthony.
No, I'm talking about Dave's stuff. And Anthony too, but Dave also, right? But Anthony's been around forever too. But if Anthony is saying, I have information that these guys spoke to the federal authorities, then what the fuck did they say? How could you say if they're informants or not unless there is something in that fucking paperwork that tells me that they informed? Who did they inform on? It's not informing about fucking drugs.
It's an information gather. Joe, you know how that works. You just told people how that works. It's an information gap. They just wanted to talk to two guys who are internet experts on this subject. That's what that was.
Now, I'm going to say this, and this is in a general sense, Greg. This has nothing to do with what happened here or whatever. If cops come to talk to you, don't say a fucking word. Get a fucking lawyer. I don't give a fuck if they're coming there with lollipops and, oh, we just want to ask you a few questions. They're not on your side. So if these guys spoke to them, they didn't feel they did anything wrong. There was nothing to fucking hide. And that's what they'll tell you. There's nothing to hide. Well, then you can come back when I'm with my fucking lawyer and he'll decide what we're going to talk about. And that's he's saying it now, being an ex-cop, because even if it's just, this guy didn't want to talk about it. You know how many times I got fucking people? I worked in an area where Russian organized crime, you know about it from Brighton Beach. Russian organized
I was there, bro.
Last week. They don't fuck around, right?
No, they don't.
When I worked in the Queens squad in Queens, we had some fucking big time armed robberies of fucking jewelers and shit like that, and we knew who did it. Everybody knew nothing, because they knew if they opened their mouth, they were fucking dead.
Well, can I give you guys?
We got a lot of, we don't know nothing, and you gotta just eat it as a cop. Okay.
Let me tell you what Joe Pietaro right now is saying, and here's my saying to that. Even a fish would never get caught if it would just learn to shut its fucking mouth. The fish, even a fish would never be caught on a hook if it would just learn to shut the fuck, keep its mouth closed.
I'm not trying to paint that with whatever Jerry and or Boston may or may not have said. I don't even know this.
No, actually,
could be getting dead bill of goods. He might be thinking his source is true. I'm not saying Anthony's lying. He could be lying. He could be, his source could be lying, or it could be a little both. You know, you make it sound a little better. He spoke to the cops, the feds. Yeah,
well, I don't think that Anthony's lying. I think that Anthony's telling the truth. But what I think is the message is getting crossed. Okay, the wires are getting crossed, because
it shouldn't be getting crossed. It should be okay. What did he say?
Well,
what exactly is said?
Aaron told me that the feds that Jerry were talking to, he was actually friends with the Fed. Like when they talk, like, "Hey man, did you watch a fucking football game today?" Like that kind of shit. So it wasn't even like it's just what is all that shit about? What is all that stuff? This new, you know, if you came out, if there was a new drug on the street, a super drug, okay, and you're this guy who does investigative reporting, and you come out, there's a new drug called ass hair in a capsule, and it's fucking making people crazy and shit like that. A cop, you know, the cop, and now they find it's shit's happening on the street. Some cop's gonna fucking come to you. Hey, listen, I know you're not doing anything about it. You're an investigative reporter, but can I talk to you? Can we? I want information. So, what is this drug? Whose ass hair is in that capsule? You know, where's it coming from? Is that coming from Mexico? Is this, no, this is coming from Russia, whatever. You know, so that's all that was, an information gap. Because when you're on the internet and you're an expert at something, you might get people coming to you and asking you, what is this stuff? Because it's not. Yeah. Even us bodybuilders, a lot of us don't still know a lot about peptides and SARMs. It's still a gray area thing, but it's not illegal. It's not like it's not like
chemicals. They have that, you know, a title to them, so they are allowed to sell them, not for human consumption. You know, it's all a bunch of bullshit, but it's the secret word. And yes, it is an extreme gray area. Where they're legal, but they're kind of on the fence of maybe being illegal, depending on what you do with them. But I don't know. To me, that piece of paper that says these guys spoke to the authorities, if it exists, it says what they. You think when I got back to the office, I just typed the thing? I spoke to Gregg Valentino in fucking upstate New York about the crime that happened 3 days ago around the corner from his house. And what are you? What did I say? What's the report on? What did Gregg tell me? Gregg said that he saw a fucking male white, fucking 5'9", big nose, wearing a black hat and fucking cheap dollar store glasses, grab a fucking pocketbook off a fucking old lady and push her to the ground and run around the corner to the pizzeria. That's what Gregg told me. Not, oh, they're informants.
Right, but even Joe, look, you're an ex-NYPD detective sergeant, okay? So you're not some guy who like, yeah, I lived in the Cornstalk, USA, and I was on the police department, the sheriff's department. We took a few cats out of a tree. We once had a burglary. Do you believe that shit? It was a burglary. You're not one of those guys. You were in the belly of the beast. So let's say a guy wants to write a book, or even if they're going to go to you and they're going to ask you, so Joe, what was it like? Give me information. You have information. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what they were doing. I think they were just gathering information of what I know. Listen, Aaron told me a whole bunch of stuff, and I believe Aaron. Aaron's not a bullshitter. Jerry was not a bullshitter. Jerry talked about everything. He was very open about stuff. So I don't. First of all, to me, if somebody didn't get arrested from this, if nobody got locked up, there's no like he was an informant in this specific case against somebody where they went to jail, then to me, forget about it. It's nothing.
If you are getting questioned by the cops and you're just telling them, so like I said, first of all, don't ever talk to them. If they want to lock you up, especially, then you never say a fucking word. But if they're threatening to lock you up unless you talk, you can tell them to go suck your dick and slam the door. Doesn't matter. If Jerry was talking, especially as you said, he knew the fucking guy. Listen, you know about this shit. This came on my fucking radar. What is this shit all about? Because we don't even fucking know. You think I knew about fucking steroids from being a cop? I knew about them because I used them before I was a cop. I knew what they were, because a lot of people hung out with that weren't cops in the gym, used them. We met all juice monkeys that in the neighborhood. I knew about steroids, but we didn't like go after dealers and stuff like that and do cases with steroids. So this must have just popped up on this guy's fucking case fold, and he was just like, I don't know about this shit. Yeah, that guy Jerry I fucking know is all fucking into this shit. He's jacked up and knows about this. Okay. Right. To me, that sounds innocent, especially because Aaron's saying that they weren't like, hi.
She said they were friends. Yeah, she told me that they were actually friends. And here's another thing, too. What you guys don't understand is, like Joe said, you can buy books on steroids. It's everybody knows about steroids. But most of you guys sitting in this fucking goddamn thing right now watching this, even though you watch all these YouTube videos or whatever, bet you most of you can't even tell me what are SARMs, what are peptides, what are SERMs. I mean, I know enough about this stuff, selective androgen modulators. I know what all that is about the androgen SERMs or with the estrogen. But what I'm saying to you is that you don't really know, because it's a gray area and it's all research. It's new shit. It's like back in the fucking 90s when they made GHB and all the precursors and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
There was some cleaner. There was like a fucking household cleaner that was GBL or a form of GBL, which becomes GH. And guys were buying that cleaner and it turning it into GHB. Swear to God, maybe some of you guys know which one I'm not an expert, but I remember because I had all these drug addicts I was around, you know, because when I'm selling steroids, I was around, you know, where there's big fish, there's little fish. That's another thing. You know what happens too? When you get a bodybuilder, right? The average guy, you know, he's got a job, he works, you know, and he's got a house, he's got kids, a family, whatever, right? He's easy to fucking, I'm good. We're going to fucking bury you. We're going to take your house. We're going to fucking take your car, your kids and all. You're not going to be there to see your kids. So what happens? They panic, right? But when you get one of these drug dealers from New York City, Joe will tell you, you get them to sit back. They've been arrested since they were fucking 10 years old. They sit back. What's your name? You know what my name is? Fuck your mother. We got a picture of you right here. Look, here's a video of you selling fucking heroin to Joe Matarazzi down the street. That ain't me. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. Bullshit, it's you. Look at the tattoo here. That's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. My name is Fuck Your Mother. That's my name. You want to lock me up? I don't give a shit. My boys are in jail. I'll have a good time. Fuck you. You want information? Talk to your mother. Fuck you. Right? That's what happens 100%. When you're dealing with street all the time. All fucking life. They got none to lose. They don't give a shit. I live in a cockroach infested house. Now I'll go to jail. I'll eat for free. I'll live for free. Blow a fart for free. You know, they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But you get the guy that's got something to lose. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my business. The cops keep coming to my fucking business. That's the big difference too. You know what I mean? So it's an easy bust. You know, like I said this yesterday on RX. Going after guys even with steroids and shit. That's like fishing in a fishbowl. I was saying to John Romano, upstate, they said the Rhinebeck Fair, and they had this big like swimming pool thing. And you go in there, and for a certain amount of money, they had trout swimming around, right? And you put a little hook in, and you go in. Oh, you know, it's a way to go fishing and catch a fish. It's a guarantee. You're fishing at a ball, you know. But the thing is, are we really? You know, is the street safer when you want to put like when not Flojo, what the hell's the name? Which the one that went to jail? That's Florence Griffin, remember? You know, for steroids.
Oh yeah.
They put her in jail and shit. Dude, we don't going after Roger Clemens or one of these guys because they took steroids, man. Barry Bonds, bro. We got to get him in jail. So clean up the streets. You know. Oh, we just nipped crime. You know what it looks like?
San Francisco's safe now.
Right. It's a drug bust. Like NYPD cops sit there and they're like, you guys are going after that. You know, they got. You know, Joe went after like fuck his guy, you know, heroin, like, you know, probably fentanyl with
I did narcotics for almost 8 years. The only steroids I ever talked about were the fucking ones I wish I could take while I was a cop. We never did that. And fentanyl was just starting to come out back then in the 90s. They used to spike drugs with it to get guys higher. Sometimes they overspiked it and it was fucking guys were dropping. So we were doing fucking homicide narcotic investigations. I was in a specialized unit doing that, narcotics homicide. So, I mean, the steroids aren't even on their fucking radar, especially, you know, in busy areas and stuff like that. So why these cops were even asking about peptides, you know, I don't know. I know Jerry lived like in a smaller, it wasn't like New Hampshire. He was in Massachusetts. Somebody got married.
No, Jerry was in Maryland. He was
Maryland.
Okay. Was, from up there, but Boston's from California. Boston lived in Florida, but Jerry lived in Maryland. But the thing is, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, are streets safer? Nobody's carjacking cars or robbing houses to support their steroid habits. Okay. No. Do you know who robs cars and robs houses? Junkies to support their drug habit. Nobody's fucking carjacking cars or, you know, oh shit, these steroid guys, they just keep going off. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I remember Chris Benoit, you know, went nuts and they fucking killed his whole family. They got steroids, aggression, bullshit. I know wrestlers that knew him and he was not a nice guy. What's that?
His brain was fucking mushed from
he
fucking
did a lot of head drugs. He was not a nice guy, though. He was one of those guys, you know, you put an asshole on drugs, he becomes a bigger asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially when he's losing his fucking mind with that. See, Adage, Dave doesn't care about slandering old friends. Remember the thumbnail when a meme got caught? he put up this true crime looking picture as if Amin was crazed. I don't remember that.
No, I don't remember that.
And Amin is on the fucking show. Amin's one of the guys with you. You know? Lollipops, lollipop boy. Ass it. Oh, I'm behind over here. Let me see. Charlie Arms. Eric Anthony lost all credibility to me and a lot of the community when he tried to say Gregg was a rat. I bet Derek was a rat the whole time.
That's not true.
Oh, Derek Anthony. I'm thinking,
that's not true. Derek Anthony never said that about me. I got
you
Derek
were friends
Anthony.
with him.
Yeah, I'm the one who got him the gig. Even Dave knows, talks about it. I'm the one who got him the job on that podcast. He was doing a Blog Talk Radio.
And he's making big money doing that.
Yeah, he was. He never talked. He never talked shit about me, not to my knowledge. But no.
Okay, well, that's from the horse's mouth.
Well, find somebody that's a friend. It's not really Charlie Arms anyway. But find somebody that you're friends with that's a cop or an investigator, and open up my case. See if tell them look at my case to see if anybody got arrested.
Information. Greg,
what happened?
Do you want to be a Power Source? Stufa, there's my boy from England. Do you want to be our new Power Source Bar nutrition ambassador? Our current ambassador has switched to our rival Vita Peach Health Vlog during his expedition up the Murderhorn, Springfield. Now, Stufa is a funny fuck, so I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know anything about that. All that ambassador shit. No offense, my brother, but that's just a way to try to get you to promote their shit, and then you get you get a little something if they sell it. If you don't, you know what I mean? I can't spend my time trying to fucking push everybody's stuff unless you're.
But Stufa's one of my regular Instagram guys. He's a good guy. He's
okay. I believe. Yeah, I'm sure he's great.
There's a joke there that I'm not catching. Your guy should get Tony Huge on here one day. Tony's cool with Greg too. And he has a new baby on the way. Yes. Hugo Claus, a big fan of Tony Huge.
Dude, I'm good friends with Tony.
Yeah, Tony wrote friends with Tony. When I was
sick in the hospital, he was sending me shit when I was sick in the hospital. He was talking to my girlfriend and everything. He's a great guy. I love Tony.
Yeah, Tony and Trevor are both cool dudes. I like both.
Trevor is another one.
Psalm Sherms, just give me some old school yellow top deca, some Russian Sustanon, and Phenoplex. We talked about Phenoplex last week with the horse tablets. You always have the right to remain silent. The bottom line is Jerry spoke to the feds. Cut and dry case in my mind. Now, Miranda writes, I will give you your everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't say that that's wrong or whatever. He spoke to the feds. Well, I won't admit that because I don't have any fucking knowledge of this. But if Aaron is saying that, then let's just assume that did happen. But
he spoke to the feds.
To them on not an off the record, because that's not the case here. But it had nothing. He wasn't giving up.
He didn't speak to the feds. There's a big difference. There's a big difference when you're saying he spoke to the feds. So what? The other day, this kid, I was sitting in McDonald's with my girlfriend. We're watching this kid pulling fucking wheelies, right? With one of them motor bike. It's a bike, but it's motorized. Yeah. And he pulled wheels and he wasn't paying attention. He went up a fucking bump like this. He's on a curb and he hits a fucking car who saw him and stopped. And he hit right into the car, fucking fucked up the whole bike. So the cops come and they asked me, what happened? Because I got out of the car to help the kid. He's a 13-year-old boy, and he was all upset, not because, he fucking fucked up the guy's car a little bit, but he totally destroyed his bike, and he was more upset that his mother was going to.
So you were a witness to this vehicular bike accident.
Well, yeah, because I was the first one out of the car to make sure the kid was okay. You know what I mean? I was walking with the kid. He kept crying, "My mother's gonna kill me." Meanwhile, I was walking with a, and I'm like, "Dude, forget about your mother. Are you okay?" You know what I mean? You're walking with a. And when the cops talk to me, I'm not gonna say, "Yo, I'm not telling you shit. I ain't saying shit." You know what I mean? Yeah, so I guess I ratted on the 13-year-old. I told him, "Hey, listen, the kid was pulling a wheel. He wasn't paying attention. He went right into the car." You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So talking to them and giving them information that's going to lead to
It led to nobody. No, Joe Matarazzi didn't go to jail because Jerry worked on. That's fucking information.
The product, not the people pushing the product. That's
right.
What I'm on the understanding of.
Right.
And if that's the case,
Jerry was friends with him because Aaron Erin might even still talk to them. I don't know. She said she still has Jerry's phone. She said, so if any of you have Jerry's phone number and you got a problem, text that phone. She'll answer it.
Oh, shit.
How about that?
Wow.
She just told me that just before I got on the show.
That's sad, though, and it's kind of like touching, but
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
First of all, she's devastated over the loss of her husband. Okay,
yeah,
she's devastated over the loss of Jerry, and now you got people talking about he was an informant. Who really gives a fuck anyway at this point of the game? He didn't put anybody in jail. He didn't inform on one of his boys. Okay, he wasn't in with Joe Matarazzi, and now Joe Matarazzi is in jail because Jerry. None of that's true. Okay, so what's the big point of talking about these guys, especially since they're dead? You know what I mean? What's the point? Does that make him a rat because he talked to the? So if your fucking next door neighbor's house got robbed, and you didn't see anything, but you told the cop, I saw a white car go down the street. Are you a fucking rat now? You should never have talked to us. It's different if you're involved in something. You might have a little sketch on you, and you say, listen, a fish never gets caught if it just learns to shut its mouth. So I'm I'm being like a fish that's smart. I'm not saying a fucking word. That's a different story. Okay?
If they were coming there looking to pin somebody on something, like, okay, hey, tell us what these peptide things are. We don't even know what the fuck these things are.
That's
peptides are A, B, and C, right? And then they followed up. Where can we get some? We want to send an undercover in. And then he goes, you know what? Go to this fucking place. They got him in this gym. Okay, different fucking story now. But that's not what happened. Again,
they already knew.
I think Robert has a piece of paper. He has to read from it or post it. He can redact shit if he wants, but he could post it or talk about it on the show and say Jerry told the cop A, B, and C,
and it led to the arrest.
There's nothing there.
It has to lead to an arrest, in my opinion. Otherwise, the cops are just like, you're an authority on this shit. One of the cops knows Jerry. They're buddies. They're going to go to him and they're going to ask him. Boston Lloyd had no trouble talking to them. I'm sure if Boston Lloyd, was trying to rat and get his friends in jail or something like that, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? If you found out like Tyler, who was his friend, says to you, hey, fuck, man, Boston ratted on me. But he's not saying that.
He never said that.
He's never saying that.
He was devastated when Boston died when he was in the kid.
Right. So why would you be, he went to jail. It wasn't because of Boston. Okay. And nobody went to jail because of Jerry. So that's, to me, you got to be careful what you fucking put out there. Because especially when they're dead, there's nobody fighting for him. So I'm throwing my 2 cents in here on the side of just that. I'm not against Dave. That has nothing to do with Dave. Dave, but I don't like, you shouldn't have put that fucking, I don't like that, because we talk about so much shit. There's times we talk about something for 30 seconds and that becomes the fucking thumbnail because maybe it was something juicy. You know what I mean? Like, if I said, I fucking took an enema in my ass yesterday. So if Valentino takes enema in his ass, but I mean, that was like a 20-second thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying,
Yeah. I just, man, I would definitely love to get fucking Roberts on with us. I'll look into that. So I can, he may have a fucking show the thing and then it shows something that's exact and whatever. But until I see that or it's posted and stuff, I'm going to withhold fucking judgment and not jump to a conclusion. And especially don't put a fucking headline on my story, in this case, video, of informant.
Right.
That's a fucking dirty word, bro.
Right.
That'll get you.
It looks a little sketchy.
Get you whacked.
It looks sketchy, but who did they inform on? Who went to jail because of that? What I'm saying to you is just that when I asked yesterday on the show, nobody was arrested. So he didn't say, it was more of an information gathered thing on what that shit is all about and everything like that. Because there's a company, I guess, that Boston worked for. And I don't know if Jerry was involved with it or not, that I know nothing. But this they didn't go against. Jerry didn't sit in no courtroom. Jerry didn't sign a fucking statement saying this is who's going to go, because of this guy went to jail. Because of this statement here, Joe Montarazzi went to jail. None of that happened.
Yeah. So, why did the pony stop singing? He was a little hoarse. And here we had the aforementioned Joe Zapata. We said
there he is. There's our guy, Joe.
What's up, my Italian brothers? Call you guys tonight. Keep up the great work, Joe P and Greg. Love you guys. Joe, you got my text. I spoke to Dave. I definitely want to do stuff with you and your brother. I am fucking excited. Excited. I think we have a lot of great things that we can do together as a fucking team. And I'm looking forward to meet. I haven't met him in person, and to actually doing some good shit together, obviously with Greg and the Zapata brothers involved, along with MSM. So, Joe, let's talk turkey, my friend. Let's get this thing going. And Greg, thank you again. Thank you for getting that wheel in motion, obviously. Without you, then Joe doesn't call me, because you're the one that told him, hey, call Joe. So I'm excited about that.
We got excited. You and Joe will definitely hit it off good.
Well,
you and George definitely, because you guys are more business minded and shit. I'm just a fucking dog chases tail squirrel trying to get I'm terrible with business. Even here, people come to buy shit from my girlfriend. I'm the kind of guy who would just take it. Don't worry about it. My girlfriend's what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fucking Momo. You know? I'm bad.
Fuck. Son of Sammy Dave. Hey, Nick, what's up, buddy? Dave might be a good guy, but he's an opportunist at heart. Definitely a little dirty the way you made the thumbnail. Make sure you have all your fingers after you shake his hand.
Joe, you got to ring the bell.
Very good. Excellent. 5 units of GH is going to turn you into Superman. I'm telling you. Yes, especially from China. And it's on sale this week. From China. Well, let's get it before the tariffs stick in.
We got GH, we got IGF. We're practically giving it all away. Remember that? Crazy Eddie.
Insane.
It's Christmas in July. You remember that? It's Christmas in July. He'd be standing with his Santa Claus outfit on the fucking beach and shit.
Oh, that was
people
great.
Are not from New York. They probably have no idea what the fuck that is, right?
Yeah, Crazy Eddie was
like the New York tri-state area. Oh,
yeah,
dude, you got no idea.
I call him Watermelon Head. Who's Watermelon Head?
I think he's talking about maybe Dave.
Oh, whatever.
Dave's a good guy. It has nothing to do with Dave. Well, I'm not here to. I'm not bashing.
I would
Dave.
never put you on the spot with that. I'm just saying this is all my opinion about it. I think, and I should. I'm putting the cart before the horse. I should watch the program before I comment on what was said, but I can just go by looking at the thumbnail and from what you're telling me occurred because you were on it. I find that very sloppy, and you got to do your fucking your homework before you put something like that up. Or if you got a fucking an interview subject who's giving you something that's very deep, that's not just like saying, oh, I heard this guy fucking shit his pants when he was doing squats. Who gives a fuck? You're talking about something really fucking fucked up about people, and they're dead. Again, like you said, they're not here to fucking dispute that and fucking say, hey, fuck you, that ain't the truth.
Do you know what's funny, Joe? I just thought of something because you're saying exactly. This is so true what Joe's saying. Do you know one time I did a fucking thing for when I wrote the Rambling Freak, right? And I wrote a little thing about how Dorian Yates got knocked out by some guy at a fucking bodybuilding show, right? That he supposedly fucked the guy over in business and everything. And when I talked, then Dorian came to me and he said, "Why did you write that shit without talking to me first? You should have asked me." Because I could tell you the whole story. And he goes, what happened was he says the guy sucker punched, but the guy was an MMA fighter, would have killed him anyway. Okay. Yeah. But he said that what it was that the guy, that he's the one that got fucked over by the money or some shit like that. Right. And then, when he just simply went up to the guy to ask him like, what's going on or so, I don't remember those. All I know is I didn't go when I heard the story come to me about him getting KO'd, you know what I mean? Backstage at a show. I was like, I fucking put it out that I was talking about in the Rambling Freak, right? And, he was right. He said, why didn't you just come to me and ask me? I should have called him and said, yo, what's the deal with that? Did you really get out? Because it did happen, but he swears he was sucker punched by the guy. And supposedly the guy came up to him nose to nose and said, you motherfucker. Whatever. I don't know. I forgot. Yeah. It's been so long. This was like 2004 or something. It was a long time ago. You know what I mean? But he did say to me, from now on, whenever you get any shit, just come to me and ask me. you know, and he was right. So I would, before I release shit, I want to get the other side to it first.
Yeah, and even if you reach out and they don't get back to you, you can always put in the story, and you see it all the time in the fucking newspaper. We reached out to so-and-so for a comment and not heard back as of this writing.
Right.
Fucking journalists write that fucking ad nauseum. He's saying it's a Trump quote, the watermelon head. Who could have here's Annie Barker. Greg, what advice would you give a woman who's dating a juice head?
Don't do it. No, listen, I got to be honest with you. Annie, I don't know if that's really even a, you know, sometimes we get these people, you click on it, bro, says, dude, you know what I mean? But whatever.
Yeah.
If you are dating a juice head, honestly, you know, bodybuilders are selfish motherfuckers. So, you know, dude, I gotta eat, like, you know, and I gotta have this, and I gotta have that, and I gotta, you know, like, I remember Gary Stridham, his wife Elise was like, do you know what it's like with this fucking guy? You know, gotta have sleep. Don't bother me when I'm sleeping. Don't do this. I gotta, you know, gotta have the fan blowing on me even in the winter because I'm fucking 280 pounds. You know, all this kind of shit. You know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, you know, to date a juice head. You know, I get along great with my girlfriend. We've been together, you know, going on 19 years. We're on our 19th year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we get along great. You know, but that's because you gotta, you know, you gotta meet in the middle. You know, so it's I don't know. Dating a juice head. It depends. Is he one of those, dude, I'm taking trend, and now he's throwing fucking dishes around the house, blaming the fucking drug? You know what I mean? That's
Is he a contest guy too, where it's different now?
All that shit matters.
It's different thing. But just dating a juice head, everybody takes fucking juice. So
if he's good to you, and he's not an asshole throwing shit around, punching walls, like I got roid rage. That's bullshit. He knows who to get roid rage with. He knows who to get roid rage with. You know what I mean?
He probably wants to fuck a lot. So if you have a high libido too, the juice is giving him the high libido. Hey, and get more fucking, you know, you got to do the laundry more often.
Right. Well, my girlfriend's a Mexican pig. So, you know, we do a lot of, we have sex a lot. We sex pretty much every day, whether it's, you know.
Lucia.
She's got a high libido. She's got a high libido.
You're funny, though. I know you're just fucking around because you love her. You, like you said, you've been with her forever.
No, I love her, but I'm not fucking around.
You're just having, you're just
pretty much fucking. Whether it's I'm getting a blowjob doing fucking or fucking, you know, she's making out, jerking me off, whatever, you know, however it works out. You know, we're very sexually compatible over here. Yes, very active. And that's important. You got to be active. And if you're not active and you need to get it up, ejaculate. I'm giving what's the name of plug it. Ejaculate.
We can do that too, because I swear by that anyway, regardless.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Joe gave that shit to me one time.
One is all you need. You don't need two.
It worked
one
too
pill.
good. I had to take. There's like a little jelly or something in those capsules. I had to actually break it apart. I made the mistake. I gave Joe the bottle back. You remember that, Joe? I actually gave it a bottle because it was working too good on me. I'm like, holy fuck. Now I want another. I want to get me another bottle of that shit. That shit was so good.
I'll catch you more.
Dude, there's like a little gel or something that was in it. I don't know about now, but the original, I would break those things apart and take it, and I'd be like, I couldn't get the hard on to go away. You know what I'm saying?
It's like fucking steam pipe, and when you come, it enhances that fucking like that, you know, that tingle from load. It's just, I love it. It's the
you know what?
I like it better than fucking
I have a bottle. Wait, Joe, I'm gonna show you this shit. Hold on, what is this? Hold on, I'm coming right now. Hold on, I'm coming.
He's got his piss bottle.
No. So I think you gave me this. Isn't this from him too, or is this from another company? I think you gave me that, right? Didn't?
Oh, Herberax. Yeah, that is it's like the natural version. Now look on the thing, because I have a box. And it's for men and women. Does that one say the same thing? It probably does.
You know what? Joe, do you see that letter? Even with glasses, if I put on my reading glasses and use a magnifying glass, okay, I still can't. I can't read that. Are you even with like reading glasses? I'm.
Oh, those 60, things. It's like.
Dude, I'm 65. If I go to the eye doctor, right, and I look at the chart and he says, "What can you see?" I said, "An E." That's it. You know what I mean? I can't see a giant E. You know, no, but this stuff, I think you gave me this with the, isn't this the same? The same company?
Very similar. Ejaculoid stronger. I like Ejaculoid.
No, Ejaculoid way stronger, but I think that this
much better.
I think
it's more of a natural, like
No,
I
is
think it's
it
got more
a
yolk
sperm
in
booster?
there.
Is this like
It
a
is
sperm
it is
booster?
it is like a dick pill too, but it's it doesn't have the same ingredients because it's more of the like from the plant and shit, stuff like that. Can it provide
Ejaculate.
enough tummy pancakes to feed the 5,000 on the hill? Listen, one bottle of fucking ejaculoid can feed the fucking all the starving fucking kids around the world in tummy pancakes.
Let me
Fucking-
tell you something. Let me tell you something. That shit worked too. It's a blue capsule. Is it still the blue capsule? Is it the same thing or no?
Yeah. Yep,
There's a little blue
and then
capsule. You open that shit. I had to open it up. There's like a black jelly or dark. I can't see colors anymore, but whatever. And
Yeah.
I remember I would take that fucking half a thing and I'd be like this. You know what I mean? And fucking holy shit. It'd be poking my chin, you know?
Yeah. Go to GoliathLabs.com, order
Goliath
ejaculate, and tell them fucking Greg and Joe sent you and said that this I need this for my next load. But if you're going away with your wife or your girlfriend for a weekend, just take the whole bottle with you, bro.
What I want you guys
only need one a day. You may be wanting to fuck her all day long.
Or you can't take if you take that shit. Listen to me. Take half at first because that shit works too. Listen, I'm not trying to fucking sell a product here. I'm not getting paid. I'm telling you, Joe gave this. I actually gave it back because it was killing.
Yeah.
It was killing me. It was so good.
Yeah.
Like my boners. I'm very. You know. Now I want it back, Joe. But I'm saying Indian giver. But we know. Listen, it was so good that like I'm very like sensitive. Like if I get a Viagra, if I can bite just a little crumb of it like that shit'll make me forget about it. You know what I mean? But the thing is, and you know what? This shit's actually kind of healthy for. I know you guys probably think I'm full of shit, but it's a nitrous oxide releaser. You know those super beats and all that shit's supposed to help release nitrous oxide. What the fuck you think? Like even like sildenafil, Viagra, all that shit. This shit is all it's like a legitimate nitrous oxide reliever. So actually, you get the benefits of like heart shit. But Viagra was a heart medicine. I don't know if people know that.
Yeah, and it was giving old men fucking rods.
Right, there were men who hadn't got hard-ons in I haven't had a hard-on in 30 years. And you say, why is that?
Now, listen.
Did you see what my wife looks like?
If the feds talk to the fucking patient or the doctor about it, are they informants? If they spoke to them about the side effects of Viagra? Obviously, I'm just being stupid.
It's funny you say that, Joe, because when I was arrested, I had a bottle. My guy used to get shit from a pharmacy, like dirty pharmacist and everything. But I had a bottle of 1,000 Viagra, and the cops they took it, but they never claimed that shit. They were fucking piece of that shit. Yeah, you get fucking. I would give me like 50 of those fucking things, There was a bottle of 1,000. And those pills were like $10 each back then. So that's like 10 grand for that fucking bottle.
First came out. Yep. Greg, I'm immensely jealous of your encounter kinship with Snooki. Did you ever bring her around Joe? He never did, but I don't think there was an opportunity to bring her around me. It wasn't like I was with you when you ran into her. It wasn't like a plan thing, right?
The reason why I'm friends with Snooki is because of Emilio Masello. Yeah. Right. Emilio. And Emilio was her boyfriend. Okay, he was her first
on the program too.
Yeah, he was on the first year with the Jersey Shore. He's the one who gave her that alligator she still sleeps with. And as a matter of fact, he wasn't sure if that first kid she had might have been his. You know what I mean? He came back for a shot at the title. Yeah. And I just talked to Emilio 2 days ago because, by the way, Jerry Montaneri died, who owned the Montaneri brothers who owned.
Massachusetts guy.
Right. Not Massachusetts. Yes, it's. Connecticut, yes. Evan Senapani's main home gym. A lot of guys. So shout out to Jerry. Jerry was a great guy. I knew Jerry very well. Jerry was like. And by the way, did you know that Emilio's he's a police officer? He's on a special ops on the team. He got on a police department. He was a Danbury cop. Now he's I think Naugatuck, whatever, Connecticut. Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, he's on there special teams and shit because he was in the Army too, so he went in the Army and then he came out and but Emilio's like a little brother to me. So we're really close. I just talked to him yesterday, on the phone for a while. Yeah. And but that's how I know Snooki. It's not because me and Snooki never dated.
No, you just knew her through the boyfriend.
Through the boyfriend. She was crying.
He was a good guy.
Oh, he's a great guy.
When
She
you
was crying on my
when we
shoulder when
worked
they
for
broke up.
MD, didn't we have him on the show when we worked for MD? We had him on the radio show.
We had him on the show. Yep. Remember
he was a good dude.
I don't know if you remember this, Joe, but I think he told me she used to give him coupon, like he'd be sleeping and she'd have to, she'd go to work.
Yeah.
And she'd give him a coupon. This is worth one blowjob. You know what I'm saying? This is worth one fuck. This, you can eat my box tonight with this coupon. They had like sex coupons, and she would leave one on the bed. He'd be like, "Oh shit, I'm eating a box tonight. Look, I got a coupon for that." You know what I'm saying? Tonight you get to eat the box.
I don't get that. Do you get that? I never get that at home.
No,
I get it. No, go fuck yourself. Go jerk off.
Yeah, you get a note saying, "You want to get laid? Huh? Can you want to blow you want to get a blowjob? Go blow yourself or stick your dick in a back."
Yeah. Break your back and bend over.
No, I don't.
This one's a.
Go ahead.
No, you're lucky though. You don't need the coupon. I get
no.
Nothing.
I don't need the coupon.
Candace Monroe. My boyfriend wants to do anal, and I'm okay with it. I'm just afraid of having an accident during it. Is that a big turn off for guys? Well,
first of all, is this
it
really
probably would be if that happened. But why do you think you're gonna? Just you probably don't you take like a colonic or something before that? You're supposed to do.
First of all, you fleet the ass. You got to take the fucking what
you
I use the fucking fleet. I use it to shit every time I shit. I keep it in my fucking sock when we go.
The sock, the bottom. You'd wrap it with the napkins.
Yeah. People think I'm crazy. Even when I stood on stage in not Times Square. It was Times Square. I was in Times Square AMC Theater, right? And I stood on stage here. I opened the Tribeca Film Festival in 2007. Because, I did the biggest,
stronger, faster. Yeah.
Right. So I opened it. And Dave Palumbo came to interview me, right? And the first thing he did was like, I got to see if you still have it. And he lifted up and sure enough, there it was. I'm standing on stage. There's fucking Martin Scorsese, people like that, right? In the fucking crowd. I'm standing up there like this. Kenneth Corey Apple. But no, I would. Me, I don't shut the fuck up.
Ollie Chan.
Zip, zip, zip. But so no, I had no trouble talking. And
looking for a apple.
Wait till I get home. You remember because Ralph was standing there. Ralph. Anyway,
am I coming through out there?
Chef of the future. But
Norton was like fucking cool and calm. He was doing great. Fucking Ralph was scared shit.
He was like this with his eyes wide open. Anyway.
Oh, handy housewife helper. We're talking about the honeymooners. For anybody that's going, what the fuck are they saying?
Right. Young people have no idea what the fuck we're talking. But listen, if this Candace Monroe, that's probably a fake person, but whatever. I'll play the game. Listen to me. If your boyfriend wants to do anal, first of all, you got to fleet your ass out. But the first thing you do is get a strap on it. You tell him, I'll do anal, but you take it first so you see what I'm going to feel. There you go.
You know what's sad? I'd fucking do both.
There you go. There you go. Hey, listen, you guys out there, your wife's fucking you anyway, right? She's been fucking you. You're getting her fucking big mouth every single day. You might as well get the dildo up the ass. She might appreciate you more. So when Joe, maybe you should try that.
Milk. Yeah.
Maybe you should try that, Joe. The wife will be like, "Oh, you want to get laid tonight? You first." But at least you get it. You take one for the team, and then at least you'll be banging later. It's only a plastic. It's only a piece of rubber or plastic, right?
Yeah, it's fucking harmless. Gregg's top 3 toughest IFBB pros from back in the day that you wouldn't want to street fight. Oh, so it's nothing to do with bodybuilding. Let's talk about fucking,
I'll tell you this. It's very easy. Believe that. Mike Christian, bad motherfucker, could fight like you wouldn't believe. I'll tell you, Quinn wasn't too bad either, but Quinn could lose here and there. But the other one is Mike Matarazzo, fucking can hang and bang like nobody you know. And believe it or not, a little fucking silent one that everybody told me I never seen him fight. But he's supposed to be a really tough guy if you get him pissed off. Is, believe it or not, Charles Glass.
Really?
So there's 3. Yes.
Wow. All right.
Charles
you
Glass
knew these
is
guys. You lived there.
Yeah, Charles Glass is the sleeper one. You would think like, oh, don't fuck with him. Like all these big fucking jack guys. But I know Charles Glass would
Victor
fucking
Richards
knock out big Victor Richards. No, not Victor Richards.
But that's a very interesting question. Good job, Charlie Arms. And Gregg right away came up with the answer.
The real Charlie Arms could throw fucking hands too. Let me tell you something. You don't want to fuck with that guy.
Charlie Arms was the gym, right? You had
legit. That was a bad dude.
Used to train.
He did like 20 years in jail for shit. You know what I mean? He was don't fuck with that guy.
Did he talk to the feds? We didn't, because he did 20 years like Philly Pietaro.
Ring the bell.
The female Greggers pictured with in the latest Muscle Sport mag cured my erectile dysfunction. Now, is
it my girlfriend?
Okay.
Is it Lucia?
All right. Well, we have.
I forgot. My brain is shot. There you go. Yeah, I just got it. Yep.
You got it, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Well, we have this. The one
that's,
with.
Oh, that's that's. Yeah, my friend.
Here's the crackhead. But I think they're talking about the one closest to your heart.
That's my girlfriend right there. The one on a stripper pole's my girlfriend, and the other one was a girl that was a stripper that my friend was fucking around with. The one where I'm like putting my mouth near her ass.
This one here, guys, it just came out, volume 16, #1. Subscribe today. I'll get it out to you in the morning.
Joe, I was with Gasparino, Charlie, on Friday night. We were out at dinner and shit. And I talked to him, and he's like, dude, let's just do this. Let's do the magazine. He's all with it. You know what I mean? He'll promote that shit. We'll get it on Fox News.
Charlie will be on the cover.
Yes, we'll
love
get it
that
on Fox
TP
News.
jail story. Hey, Keith, what's up? What's the TP jail story? What am I missing? Sure. The toilet paper. Is that the bologna with the wheat bread?
Oh, he's talking about the bologna sandwich, the fucking where I wrote the whole wheat bread, where I was scratching my ass on it. I was like, you ever see a dog when he goes across the floor like this? You ever see a dog go across the floor on a rug where he fucking rubbing his ass, right? The dog.
Yeah,
see a dog.
it's itching.
That's what I was doing. I was like a dog doing that shit. I was rubbing it. I had all these guys handcuffed to me, so we were like in a line. They're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Bro, my ass is fucking." Because it was whole wheat bread and it irritated my butt off.
Good thing it wasn't raw. Jesus, you had fennel seeds of being your fucking ass. Greg, what do you think about Joe going to fly at carpet? Oh, because I'm going for my 30th anniversary with Mrs. P to England and Ireland, and they are influxed with a lot of immigrants from other lands, other parts of the world, and they're kind of really taking over.
England is infested. It's like cockroaches, and so is France is infested. Germany's infested. Yep. I don't know about Ireland being infested, but
they have been. But it seems like they're starting to do a little more pushback. I might get arrested for Facebook posts. Do you know Hooger Claus? I have been careful writing anything on Facebook and Twitter because I am going there. They're locking people up in England and they even said, even if you're an American, we'll lock you up if you post something that's anti-fucking Islamic or, Islamophobia. So I've been, fucking kind of leaving that alone. I try to stay away from all this controversial shit now anyway. I can't be bothered. I just want to do my thing and fucking watch sports and masturbate. I don't need trouble. Thanks for the advice, guys. I doubt he will take a strap on though. But if you're good with doing it in the Candace, fucking just enjoy it. Have them eat it first.
Fleet it out. Do it's portable douche. You just squeeze the water up there, clean that shit. You'll be clean. You won't. And plus, not for nothing, but if you do shit on him, you tell him, "Hey, you're fucking an ass. What do you expect?" You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen. If it comes or it shoots out all over the place, that's different. But I think most guys will be okay with if there's anytime you tap a fucking pail.
Come out with a little Hershey kiss on the end.
Yeah, a little bit on the
kiss on the end. A little lemon.
Make sure there's no broccoli in it though. No broccoli.
We don't want broccoli in that shit. Dude, that's fucking a true story. That girl was Filipino. Filipino. That was bad, bro. First of all, I hate broccoli already. That sealed the deal for me. That sealed the deal.
Broccoli is like your kryptonite. I can't blame you. I mean,
dude, if you had a fried rat, right, and then broccoli, I'd have to sit there and do we go for the fucking meat or do I eat the fucking vegetable? Which one?
Yeah.
I'd have trouble. That's how bad I hate broccoli. I won't eat broccoli. I'm the most bleached guinea you've ever met in your life. I go to the most exclusive Italian restaurant, the fuck where they over there serving you, wiping the crumbs off the table, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just have spaghetti meatballs, or chicken parma if I'm really funky. Yeah, I don't need any of that other shit. You know what I mean?
You don't go crazy.
No,
Really?
I'm a bleached guinea. I'm happy.
All right.
Get me some good spaghetti and meatballs, good macaroni.
If you enjoy it, you can.
I love it.
That's what you want. Corey Hanks, who got more trannies in the 90s and early 2000s, King Kamali or Greg?
Well, Kamali had the girl that Kamali tried to hook me up with was fucking banging. I'm going to be honest with you. She would have totally got my ham in her can without a fucking doubt. You know what I'm saying? And if she was really good, I might have gave her a reach around. But the thing is, and I would have helped her out. I would have been friendly. But she was like, she didn't want
common courtesy.
Dude, she was looking at me like,
oh, no. Oh,
she was cute. She was like Asian and shit. She was like Asian and American. So you mix that blood together, and bro, you would never know. She was super hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, I think Kamali's wife was there, Barbara. So, you know what I mean? It's like he wasn't going to, but he kept trying to, he was like, come on, talk to him, talk to me and shit. I was like, look, I don't give a shit. I'm going to I want that, hot, bro, hot. Mini skirt, big fucking tits, and skinny. Skinny with a fucking hair, with a fake tit. I love fake tits. Who doesn't like fake tits? You know what I'm saying? Come on, when you go to these, you go to like Scores and you see like a real like fucking hot body chick. I don't like any meat. I like them skinny. Sorry. Yeah. But I like them skinny. They got to be tight. My girlfriend's skinny and I still want her to lose weight. I like anorexics. But you put tits on an anorexic and I'm right there, bro. I'm right there.
I think tits go away during the anorexia.
Tits on an anorexic. Ring the bell, Joe. Fake tits. Come on.
Ring the bell. Tits on an anorexic.
Tits on an
Here's
anorexic.
another question. What's the cheapest versus most expensive working girl you were ever with? I have sometimes paid large sums just to reserve a girl, kind of like reserving a table.
Okay, now listen to me. You may find this hard to believe, but I never paid for a whore. I actually had a whore. My friend one time, I was sleeping in the back seat of a car. I was young. I had overalls on. I was like 17. I had fucking, like Farmer Joe's. I had those things on, and she fucking. And next thing I know, this black chick comes fucking sitting in the back seat. I wake up, I'm looking like this at my friend. I hadn't had a cold. I wasn't feeling good. I was tired and shit. And my friend is sitting in the front seat. I see him sitting back going, hey, my birthday was like in a week. He's like, happy birthday. And I see a head going up and down. This chick opens the window. The next thing I know, this chick's sucking my dick. You know what I mean? So, but I didn't pay for it. But I don't pay. Listen, I don't pay for whores. I date them. You know what I'm saying? Like I have I like relationship with them. I don't want a virgin. I don't want some like, oh my God, you're going to be the first. And I'm going to be like, oh my God. I don't want that shit. Jesus. I want to pick. I want her to slap me in the face like this. And then I'm like, holy hair pie. And next thing I know, she's fucking riding me, smacking. I like them being a little aggressive, if you know what I mean.
A little aggressive, yes.
A little aggressive. I kind of like a dominant chick. I'm not going to get tied up, but, I could get smacked around a little bit.
Yeah, smacking's good. Denmark is the worst. Now, Hugo de Kloos lives in Denmark, and he sends me all of the shit that's good with all the Muslim, pro-Palestine. It's like Denmark has really, fallen, unfortunately. It's a beautiful country. Terrible. They just gave it away,
I got to say something. There's some cool Muslim people, and then there's the radicals. Do you understand? It's like, they're like, you see the Hasidic Jews like this, and they're fucking, the regular Jews look at that. Yeah. The regular Jews like, look at that motherfucker with that hat on. You know what I mean? Anyway, right? In a curl on the side of the head. What the hell's all that? But whatever. I'm not right. Wait, I don't want to get us. Cut that out, Joe. I don't want to get us in trouble. I just thought about that. But I mean, like, not all of them are savages. I have friends that the wife wears a hijab and shit, and they're great. You know what I mean? She's like, she'll whip the hijab off and like do cooking shit on. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, what the problem is, we're being invaded by the vermin. Did you know that a lot of the people in Iran are like, please, Donald Trump, fucking topple our regime, please? Because back in the day. When we were young,
beautiful.
Those chicks were in discotheques. You ever see like Iranian discotheques?
Yeah,
in the 70s and shit.
During the Shah era, mini
bro,
skirts.
I love those fucking girls with the dark hair, curly
You like
hair,
that?
a little bit of a beak on her and shit, and she got the high eyebrows like fucking Princess Jasmine. You know what I mean? I'm into that shit. You know? But then, now that same girl's an old lady, and she's got the fucking thing on her head with just the eye slot, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, motherfucker, that was once wearing a bikini on the beach. They're not like that. Not what we see. We're seeing the cockroaches. You know what I'm saying? The ones that invade, and they're like fucking, and they keep having savage kids at fucking 4 years old. They're like, like that. At 4 years old, they're already like with the headband on, ready to kill.
Yeah, it's
those are extremists. They're not the everyday.
Yeah.
If you went to Iran, you'd be like,
yeah, there's a big difference. Yeah,
dude, I saw a whole fucking shit with these guys who were in Iran. My, people, and they've shown me videos, and I'm like, wait a minute. Not every girl's wearing a hijab. I mean, some are wearing it, but but I'm saying like that they were like fucking like nice people. You know what I mean? Like, what do you be like? Wait, that's a, you would think that everybody's sitting there, with the fucking gun in there and kill American, kill. That's not true.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's it's the religious fanatics. They're nuts. And that's what I meant about
the ones running the show. So they're the ones that get you. Show.
And they're the ones who their job is to spread out and fucking invade.
Oh yeah, they want to do a caliphate.
Mantra, right?
Take over the world. Yep. Nick says he loves Gregg's How Cavern story. I always think about him when I go there. You probably can still smell the piss he took there. that was like, didn't a curse? You had a curse.
The curse was real, dude. I swear to God, I got arrested not long after that. My wife left me with my, took my kids. You know what I'm saying? My fucking, I lost everything. I lost my gym. My mom had just died. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Because I pissed on a fucking stalagmite or stalactite, whichever the one is that goes up. You know what I'm saying? I pissed on it. You're telling me that and do you know what? I think I told you this. That fucking, I went back years later with my daughter at a school trip, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I got to reverse the curse. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And I talked to one of the guys. There's a guy, they take you in the tours out down there. And I talked to one. I said, listen, the curse is real. Because they don't even want you to touch the walls. Like,
no, you're not supposed to.
Wall. Have you ever been here,
I don't know if I've been to that one, but I've been to one of those type of things, and I had to touch it because they told me I couldn't. But it was so smooth, like it was beautiful. I thought I didn't scratch it or break it. I just tapped it.
There's like natural enzymes or something that whatever the fuck it is, bacteria or something. But they say that the salts and the sweat on your hand or whatever. So I'm sitting there, right? And I told the guy, I said, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I pissed on one of the fucking things. And he goes, listen, I know about the curse. Don't worry about it. He goes, this is a swear to God. He told me, he goes, because the elevator comes down and brings everybody down there. And you're like fucking 10 stories down below the earth. There's no fucking bathroom down there. They should put a fucking couple porta potties or something. Because he told me sometimes we come back and there's people who shit right in the fucking. Somebody ran back to the elevator and shit in the elevator. He goes, I can't tell how many times I come back and there's shit in the elevator. Like somebody from the tour falls, like I fell back, And my son, who was little at the time, goes, because he came around. Where are you? And he's like, like that. Oh my God!
You got busted.
I'm gonna go tell mom what you just did. And I'm like,
you were trying to sneak it.
I was, bro. That is
Ireland is pushing back. That's funny though. That's a phone.
Days later, my girlfriend died. My girlfriend died.
I remember you were saying
1 week later. My girlfriend 1 week later she died.
Your whole life fell apart. And it was just coincidental. But I mean, it was just like symbolic almost. You did that, and everything just happened.
I don't really believe in the curse, anyway. But
Ireland is pushing back more than the UK. Yeah, I've seen some things on Twitter where they're fucking starting to do it. Mike Mazzari. Who's Mike Mazzari?
He might be Matarazzo.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe Mike Matarazzo. Yeah, he passed away a long time ago.
Yes, he did. He passed away too. Yep.
Yeah. Don't forget, UK police admitted they arrest more than 30 people a week for offensive posts. Greg, I'm glad they're cleaning up the street. Those posts are even worse than those steroid guys. Those social media bandits.
Dude, you can thank Trump for this to start stopping, because, you know, if he leads the world and whatever, you know, that's got to, first of all, if you're a cop, if I'm a cop, I know it's my job, but I you know, there's got to be a police chief with balls that says, I'm not making an arrest for this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is fuck. I got savages marching in the street. They're the R word kids and women, and they're pulling them in corners and you're worried about some guy with a fucking meme. Holy Christ, man! If I'm a police chief, I'm like there's a police chief upstate in New York, somewhere upstate, like a sheriff, and he was saying like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not fucking making arrests for stupid shit. I forgot what it was. Was it like, you know, when they wanted to like start locking people up for stupid shit, and he was like, you know, I think it was the COVID thing, like, you know, if they don't have a mask, he's like, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think I remember that too. Is it true that Sean Ray was with a T-girl? I am not.
No, you know what they're talking about? Listen to me.
I don't know anything about that.
Listen to me. Let me tell you. Let me tell you guys a little something. You guys think T-girl? It's not what you think. It's not these pink-haired fucking things like, I'm a woman. Hear me roar. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. Okay, it's not Joe or I and Jen. It's not that. These are different. You would not know. I will show you. Joe and I, when we were working with MD, we
had that
right
in the forum. Yes,
we posted a picture because Buck Angel, who I know personally, right?
Yeah.
There's a picture of me and Buck Angel in a club. Now I was with my girlfriend, a bunch of guys and everything, and he came up to me and he was and Buck Angel is a famous female to male transsexual, and he's
he looks like
right?
Branch Warren.
Dude, he's fucking jacked. Him and I were in a club together. He's like, what's up? What's up? Bald head, goatee, fucking tattoos everywhere. This is a long time ago, by the way. Okay.
And he has a vagina, a working, original born with working vagina. And he looks like Branch Warren.
Dude, he's like a great dude, like pull my finger. You know what I mean? And it's a dude, you know what I mean? And he's like jacked. And we said, who would you rather touch? Okay, this Buck Angel.
Oh, Blackman got crazy. You pull that down. Yeah.
And then we put this tranny up, okay? And she's like unbelievable. You would never know. Looks like a real girl. You guys out there would take her over your wife. That's how good looking she is, okay? And Steve Blackman's like, that's not real. That's not real, because I posted a picture of her with a piece of gun. And he goes, and she got, by the way, since then she's gotten it cut off. She's like a model on fucking Instagram, and she's got like 1 million followers. Anyway, so now, and you idiots don't even know, because she doesn't advertise what she is. Anyway, stand there, and Steve Blackman's like, that's not real. That's Photoshop. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it was legit. Yeah. It was
so
true.
what you see, with these things that you see in the fucking, you know, in the media like that, that's not, those are savages. Those are not like, that's not real.
Weirdo. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit is legit, but it's rare. It's so rare. It's like the white buffalo, bro. There is people like this that are born this way. It's rare. Today, everybody's gay. Every fucking show I see has an interracial couple, has a fucking some transgender or sweet guy. You know what I'm saying? And they make the white guy look like the fucking idiot. Really? You know? And you know, I'm just saying. It's a fucking. You know, every show now today, diversity and inclusion. You know, dude. I have a friend. Joe. I don't know if I told you. Dude, I can't really say too much because he'll know I'm talking about him. But I have a friend who just got on a police force. Okay, he just got on a police force, Joe. He's 64.
Really?
He's black. He's 64. He's been arrested. I can't really say.
How did he get on? So
I think it was an appointed thing. I think it was an appointment. He got on a. I shouldn't really say too much because he's a really good friend of mine. It's going to look like I'm throwing him under the bus. They're going to get pissed. Forget I said that. We'll talk about something else. I'll tell you later because it's the most fucked up shit. Okay. You know who just got on the police force, Joe? Hold on. Court officer?
Best job ever. Who got it?
State court officer. You know Tara Scotty? You know Tara Scotty, Joe. She's 52, I think, or 53. She just got. I'm really good friends with her. She just got on. She's a court officer now. Where do I
know her from? From
she was
the FD and shit.
Let me see if I can fucking show you a picture of her. Joe. I almost called you Joe. I called Joe Zapata, Joe Pietaro, and I call you Joe. That's so fucked up, Joe. Joe, you know her, Joe. Joe, she used to be like the Metrex girl and all shit. She was a very famous Let me see if I can send you a picture of her really fast. Where's Tara? I think this
So
is
I would
Tara.
definitely know who she is if I see her then.
Yeah, I think so. Here, I'm sending a few pictures of her right now.
Okay.
Let's see if you recognize her. She just got on. She's a good girl. She's good friends with my friend Dana too. You know what I mean? Here, I'm gonna send it right now.
Capabianco.
Yes, Dana Capabianco, right.
Yeah.
Check out those pictures. See if you recognize her.
Where did you send it?
Oh, to your text message on your phone.
Oh, okay. No, I got it. All right.
She was once the big metrics girl and stuff. She's a very good friend of mine. She's a great girl. She just got on. She's court officer.
Wow. Me ain't give about. She's fucking mint.
Yeah, Tara Scotty. She's Italian.
Tara Scotty. She kind of looks vaguely familiar.
You remember she was the metrics girl? She was she was actually a top female bodybuilder and stuff, you know?
Yeah, she's fucking mint. But that's a great job. Good for her. That's the best cop job because it's great. It's actually
holidays
interesting
off,
too.
9 to 5, basically. You know what I'm saying?
And when they sequester a jury, they got to put them up in hotels. We used to talk to the court officers when I'd be on, trial as a cop. They used to bang the shit out of fucking drawers. They would fuck them like crazy because they had to watch them all night, so they didn't sneak out or, because they can't, they're not supposed to know anything, get any, influenced, I guess I should say. So these guys used to be with them and, natural things happen,
And that's crazy. I want to say,
this guy used to tell us on overtime, fucking one of the fucking juries in Hub fucking hotel room. He was like a 20-something year veteran. He was there a million years in Manhattan Criminal Court, and we used to love this guy. He was a pisser, man. He would make us fucking roll. I totally believe him. I don't think he was just telling a story. This one I wanted to show. Sorry for missing that field goal against the Steelers, Joe. Doug Bryan, 2003 divisional round, I believe it was in Pittsburgh, overtime. But hey, I fault Herman Edwards because why did have Chad Pennington take a knee before that? They actually lost 2 yards in a play before that.
Oh God, I hate that taking knee. You got to be a freak. That's one of my guys.
You got to be a freak. Yes. What's up? You got to be a freak. Do you need to reverse diet if you get done with a mini cut or just go back to the bulking pre-mini cut calories?
Do you need to reverse diet?
I have no idea. So I would have to give that to you because I'm not qualified.
If you take time off, but don't eat like fucking a slob. I mean, just introduce some, if you want to have a little pizza, have a little pizza, but don't do it all in one day and don't do so much of it that you put fat on. You know what I'm saying? Bring it in and just, but because, if you're dieting really hard, like if you talk to any pro and then they go off a couple days, like right off after like you're going Mr. Olympia type diet, you could get real sick or kill yourself if you eat just like Ugats right away. They'll always have a little taste, but if you fill yourself, I filled myself one time and I couldn't walk. It was really bad. You got to be careful. If you fast and shit, you can't just start eating whatever you want, or you can get really sick. You know what I mean? I would say just introduce a few foods you like, but keep kind of stay watching the diet.
Crazy. Don't do a pizza pie. Do 2 or 3 slices. Enjoy it, but but
then go right back. Yeah,
go back on the for a mini cut. Fuck, marry, kill, all in their primes. Bo Derek, Marilyn Monroe, and Gladys Porteous. Now I know Greg has an affinity for Miss Porteous.
That's not even a quote. That's not even a fucking in my wheel. Gladys Porteous, 1,000%, 100%.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
So you gotta pick one to fuck, one to marry, one to kill. So marry, they're all gorgeous. First of all, in my opinion, Marilyn Monroe is the hottest woman that was ever fucking born on this planet. And she transcends all fucking different decades and different fucking generations. Bo Derek was obviously fucking mint and Gladys Porteous too. Who's got the most money out of those 3 is the one I would marry. So I don't know.
One's dead already. One's dead already. See, but she.
Well, this is in their primes though. So in their prime. So you mean like you'll get the money quick because she's gonna get killed?
Well, there's nobody greater than Marilyn Monroe. Then I mean, If she was alive today, you know how much money she would make? I mean, she'd be millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, listen to me. She's been dead since like 61, 62, 63, whatever the fuck it is. Okay.
62.
And if you if you guys go, by the way, Joe Zapata just got New Elvis's nurse, and she just passed away and sent Joe Zapata like shit from Elvis that Elvis wore, like shit that could be worth so much money, like a scarf that Elvis wore. She left it in her will to Joe. We'll talk about that another. But the thing is, you go to Hollywood right now, right this minute. The two most popular pictures that's everywhere you go is Elvis Presley but Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe. You look up sex symbol. What's sex symbol? Marilyn Monroe. That's it. You look up the word sex symbol, Marilyn Monroe. Elvis Presley's the male sex symbol, and maybe Jimmy Dean or something like that. But those people are the biggest. You go to Hollywood, anywhere in Hollywood, and you go to the little shops. Even today, you go to Walmart, there's shirts with Marilyn Monroe's face on it. There's kids wearing she's been dead, 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
You know? And her picture's still on shirts everywhere. Elvis Presley, same thing. You know?
Yeah. Oh, these are the Mount Rushmore type of fucking things.
And you know what? You go to Vegas, Joe. You go to Vegas, and as well as Hollywood, on the Hollywood Boulevard, you will see Elvis impersonators, and you will see Marilyn Monroe impersonators.
Yeah. Yep.
So there you go.
Always. So I can't really answer. That's a tough question, because who would you kill out of that? I mean, I'd fucking marry all of them. How would I decide to kill? Usually it's like, I mean, there's, I don't know. I'm gonna say that I would fucking, I would not kill any of them. I'm gonna pussy out on the question, Paul. I'm sorry. I would eat all of their asses. I know that much. I'm
an ass eater from way back, but maybe Marilyn Monroe and definitely Ganesh Portuguese. They're the only ones I would do. Bo Derek, I don't like, I don't know. I would
really when she was running around.
I mean, look, she looked great in that movie 10. You know what I mean? But she has that. I don't know. She has that little nose and those blue eyes. I don't know. I like dark-eyed girls and shit. I don't know.
But when she was on Baywatch, remember when she was on Baywatch? She
Derek was on Baywatch.
Nicole Eggert's mother. Yeah, the Nicole Eggert.
Could I have Nicole Eggert
from Charles in Charge?
Could I have her instead, Nicole Eggert?
She's a whack job now, though.
Oh,
she turns into some. Yeah, they're all fucking weird.
Look at Pam Anderson now. Did you see?
But you know what? I give her credit. She doesn't try to hide the no makeup thing. She's like, "This is me. Fuck you if you don't like it." I actually give her a little props for that. I think
I'll give her props for the no makeup thing. Takes guts.
He does, especially somebody like her who fucking pinup. The fucking main.
They're all nuts. Look at what's that girl, Janet Jameson, right? She was married to Tito Ortiz. They had children together. He's wacky, yet he has the custody of the kids because she's that fucked up.
She definitely was a weirdo.
You got to be one fucked up woman if the man gets custody of your kids.
Oh yeah, very rare.
It's stacked against the man. It is men.
No, it's always the woman. The mom gets the custody. I got to figure out how to picks up on screen to be hilarious. Greg can react to pictures. That would, yes, I'll look into that. I don't know how to do it with this new program, but if I could do that and put pictures up and get your reaction to them, that would be a very interesting thing. Nick says, didn't Chuck Zito beat up Gladys Portuguese husband at Stores back?
I know both. I was just with Chuck Zito at a boxing match. Chuck Zito's a fucking really good guy. You would never he's so nice and shit. You would never know that he can fucking snap your neck. But what I'm saying is he doesn't act like that. Gladys, I know Gladys forever. You know what I'm saying? I actually kissed her. I didn't kiss her I kissed her, like that, so because I love her. I got pictures. And she was dating my friend though, Brian Moss. So it wasn't like that. I just, I gave her a peck. But Gladys is gorgeous in person. But she was married to. She left Brian to go with what's his name there? Fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme, who I heard used to fucking smack her around. And yes, it's true. Chuck Zito fucking knocked him down, knocked him out easy. Now, he tries to say Zito sucker punched him, which is not true at all. Zito was sitting in a chair and got up and just went bang, like this was, they had a bad argument. And I don't know how tough Jean-Claude Van Damme really is. I saw him sparring with Cody Galbraith, you know, the MMA fighter, Cody Galbraith, whatever his name, however you say his name. And Cody was smacking him around. And at the end of the bell rang. And at the end of the fight, Van Damme had thrown one of his kicks and it hit Cody. And Cody's like, they had to hold Cody back. And they had to get Van Damme out of the ring. He was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick. I didn't mean to kick, you know. And they had to get him out of the ring because Cody was going to kill him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I mean, you know, and all that shit, we're kicking high up in the air and throwing these fucking ballet kick moves. You know, you and I both know. And then back in the day, those were great watching that shit. But now you realize that the real MMA guy will just kick your fucking knees and your shins and your, you know, my daughter does that shit. She'll kick your fucking knees out. You won't even, a real MMA guy, you watch them fights, you don't see them you know, you'll see them throw a roundhouse kick in a fight once in a while, but that's a whole, they usually set shit up or
strategy,
if they see an opening. Right. If they see an opening.
Waiting for the guy to fucking expose. Yeah.
Right. For the most part, they don't kick above the knee. They just keep getting around the knee and down. You know, they'll just fucking break your shins.
Andre the Manlet, great name, by the way.
Is that my mother-in-law?
Gregg should get a film crew to follow him around for about a week for a documentary. It would be comedy gold. Documentary. Sounds familiar.
Right.
Somebody else put something out recently that's the documentary.
Oh, Dave. Yeah, Dave's. Yeah, but you know, my girlfriend would definitely not go for that shit. She doesn't like to be.
Yeah, she's shy.
She's right. Yeah. She wants to be left alone. She hates bodybuilding. She hates the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My wife can't stand it either. She doesn't want anything to do with it.
You know, Joe, I honestly
hate it.
We both. But, you know, it's kind of better that way because, you know, if you had a chick that was like really into bodybuilding and like, you know, competing and shit, and you're sitting there eating a slice of pizza and she's like, are you really? How many carbs is in that shit? And you're like, oh, fuck, right. Don't even go. You know what I mean? I don't. This is my thing. You know what I mean? You do your thing. I do my thing. I meet you in the middle.
Yeah. Exactly. You're better off 100%. I agree.
No, you don't mind if they feel like a female, you know, like a tight body and then I say yes, you know, we'll take that part.
Yeah, you can be in shape, but still. Paul Till, my father said he and his friends used to give Gregg wedgies at the White Plains YMCA when they were kids. I don't think Gregg got wedgies.
No, that's not true. Nobody gave nobody.
You did work out at the YMCA though, right? When you first.
Yeah, I did, but I wasn't.
There was nowhere to work out back then.
Right. And I didn't go there every single day. You know what I mean? I was young. Yeah. I was like 50. I had to go with my friend who was older than me, and he would drive. I worked out mostly at my house. Nobody gave wedgies. What that's so silly. What are we in high school and shit? You imagine a fucking big bodybuilder go, here, let me give you a wedgie. You know, they don't do that shit. They just fucking punch you in the face. Like Charlie Arms would just be like, come here. Bang, right in your fucking face. Or you with a dumbbell on the head. They're not going to sit there and give away. What are we in prep school and shit like that? You know what I
mean? Give you a wet willy next. I mean, yeah.
They would fucking just punch you right in the fucking face. They didn't give two shits down there. Or hit you with a fucking bar. You know what I mean? Smack you over the head with a dumbbell. That's what you would have got. Not no wedgie.
Yeah. No wedgies. I think he's just joking around having.
I know he's. Oh, I know he's always joking around. I know that.
We like to have fun. Our listeners can say whatever they want.
I'm not upset.
Greg,
I go for a good wedgie.
Yeah, I probably fucking feel good. I got nobody touching my fucking body at all. Greg, how is your relationship with the Christian? Whoa, spam risk. Yeah. Reminder. I'm talking shit about being professional journalist. I didn't put my phone on silent. I'm a dick.
Don't worry about it. That was Christian Ducoin. No, my relationship with Christian's fine.
Yeah,
My relationship with Christian's fine. We're good.
You've always been fine. I'm the one that had the fallout with him.
But I think all that's done.
We patched everything up anyway.
Yeah, it's done. Fuck it. I don't
know. Who cares? I mean, listen. I was the fucking. I didn't like what he did, and I made it well known, but it's in the past.
Yeah, he's all right. He's Christian's Christian. He's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I know him very well. He's fine. There's no issues there.
Yeah,
You know.
everybody, we're all good, and especially the older you get, the less you give a fuck.
Oh
about
God,
things.
who needs drama? I'm
I know.
fucking
I
65
be
years
bothered.
today. If I don't shit my pants, it's a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need no drama. You know what I mean? Please, God. You know.
Yeah, I haven't seen Christian in quite a while, but
Me neither. I
we
did a show with
tag
him.
each
Like,
other on posts and stuff, and stuff like that.
he's good. He's a
like
good guy. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, the fucking good for him. He does his own thing, and he's a smart guy. He's got a law degree.
Is he still? Yeah, he's a lawyer. You guys don't realize that. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
I was on the phone with Chanel, Rich Piana's ex-girlfriend, the one that he was with when he died, and she was having an issue with. I won't say it, but there was an issue, and she was freaking out, and I called Christian, and Christian talked to her because he was a lawyer to give her legal advice. I could tell you, but I don't want to get into it because she'll freak out.
No, leave it. That's her business, but that's cool. You put her in touch with somebody to give you.
Because he was a lawyer. I had just talked to him, and I had told him, listen, she's having a little issue. Can you talk to her about whatever? And he said, let me get her on give me the number, and he talked to her right away.
Yeah, so that's cool. She's she's fucking so goddamn hot. It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, she's a sexy girl.
She's so fucking good, and she's cool. She's funny. She's cool. She's crass. I love the way she talks. She's a fun chick. She
don't take no shit though. She would tell Jesus off. She don't take no shit.
That's a good
She's one of those girls. If you're in a relationship with, you better just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Don't break her fucking balls. Do either of you have ghosts? I know Gregg has a few of them. Ghosts.
I think
keep it in mind, Gregg.
I got a few.
Keep this in mind because when I touch base with you for the next issue with the column, I'm going to let you know what the cover feature is, and I think you can implement some of the stuff that happened to you into your column because you'll see when I tell you what's going on.
Sounds
it's a
good to
big
me.
secret. I can't go out and talk to the cops and tell them nothing about this one. I got to keep it under wraps. I know that you have some situations where
I've had a few, but I'm not 100% sure. You know what I mean? I absolutely, by the way, guys, that's one of the things Jerry Ward and I used to talk about all the time. He was really into that same shit. Jerry had a fucking great story. He told me, I'll tell it to you really fast. He told me that he would go to his friend's house, right? And they were one time playing with a Ouija board. His friend had this table, and it was a wood table. And he swore to me, and Jerry didn't bullshit. You guys got to know Jerry. He was very matter of fact about it. He told me Gregg was the craziest thing. He said the guy felt like his house was haunted. And he said he had this wooden table, and it had beautiful wood grain, right? And he said you would walk in there, and sometimes you'd walk out and you come back, and the grain kind of changed a little bit. Like the pattern of the grain was a little change. Yeah. And I'm like, that sounds a little odd, So this is a true story. He told me that they sat down and they did the Ouija board, and it said, I think it said, I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if it said die or death, something like that, right? Yeah. When they did all the thing. And he said the lights went out, and this giant, he said, what looked like a shadow was in the room, and then it disappeared. I think the lights went out, but I know the shadow appeared, right?
Yeah.
Joe, gotta get this. He told me that the person that the shadow appeared by was a very close friend of his, and it was one of the guys who died in that. Was it White Snake or White Lion? Where the pyrotechnics blew up on stage and it killed a few. And that killed a few of the stage hands, and it killed a couple people in the audience.
People watching the show. Yeah,
right. And
I know what you mean. I can't get a name, but it was a metal band from the '80s, and they were playing like clubs. Because Jerry was into heavy metal. Jerry he was a bass player
in a band, right? So people know that about Jerry, and he told me Gregg was the craziest thing.
Long hair and shit.
Yeah, he had the long fucking, and he would play like in a boom, 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 in a band. Anyway. He told me, he said, Gregg, I couldn't believe it. I would look at the grain, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is Jerry telling me. He would be like, get the fuck out of here. And then he'd go, wait a minute. You're right, because it It looked like the grain went this way. Now it's kind of going like the other way. You know what I mean? Like whatever. And then he said, the friend said, I'm telling you, there's ghosts in this fucking house. And then when they did that and the shadow appeared and it said death, he said, you couldn't make it out. It's just a shape, almost like an oval, like a, like that, but it was big. Yeah. And he did say that person died a couple of days later in that pyrotechnics thing. And I think another person at that table had died, and eventually, look what happened to poor Jerry. I'm not saying that had anything to do, but he told me this story.
It's creepy and like a cool, creepy kind of thing. And coincidental or not, who knows? And that's why it's always that, is it true? You don't know. That's what makes it.
He was very into that stuff. Jerry was like really into, like, we would talk. He was a spiritual guy. He was very much into, like, all that ghosts. And him and I, because I'm into it, because I feel like that it also holds the keys to whether we, do you die and it's just somebody turns out the lights, right. Yeah, and, so it's a really something that I really find really interesting. Joe and I should go somewhere and do ghost hunting one night. Are you in here?
My wife has been telling me that forever because she loves those ghost hunting shows. She goes, "You and Greg would be funny doing this."
We should go to some fucking place.
Alpha males getting scared, like acting like little fucking girls and shit. She's been telling me this. I can't even tell you for how long. And I was like, who watched that? And now you said it. So maybe
we should do that. We should go to a place that's haunted. And we bring a few people with cameras and fucking, did you die in this house? Are you here with us now?
Show us a signal. My balls if you're here.
The only thing I'm afraid of, Joe, honestly, is I'm afraid that something follow you home. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you bring it, right.
I don't want to fucking fight. If you're here and you're in this fucking abandoned mansion, you stay the fuck here. You know what I mean? Don't come here. You're not welcome with me.
Zaya,
but I do want to see it.
Hey, the boys. What's up, Zaya? Thank you for watching.
What's up, Zaya? How you doing?
Chris Miller with a very interesting that I have no idea about this at all, but I'm going to read it, and maybe you have any knowledge of it. Any truth to Nick Strength and Power? You know who Nick Strength and Power is. He actually wrote a few columns for the magazine, too. Nice young kid, Nick. Report that Jerry Ward possibly relapsed and died of a heroin overdose.
No, he didn't. Why do you guys?
Chris, can you do me a favor? Can you either email me at mustsportman.com or DM on Instagram with if you have a link to that thing? I want to watch it.
Yeah, I want proof that he really died. I don't believe that. No, first of all, I don't think that's not what happened.
Jerry was so wide open. Like in his cover story, he talked a lot about the heroin stuff. And I told him, you don't have to tell you. He's like, I have no, that's me. I that's my life. I have no shame of it. I'm proud that I overcame it. And he not only overcame it, he excelled in being a bodybuilder. But he went from this fucking drug, that's rock bottom heroin. I mean, you don't get any lower than that. When you use fucking dope, you're done, right? He beat it and became a fucking symbol of fucking, bodybuilding, fitness, and health. Whatever happened to him in death, I don't know. But I would faint if I heard that had anything to do with that.
No, I know for a fact it did.
That was so past him.
Oh, I know for a fact.
I don't think he would even think about fucking touching that.
I think he was doing heroin back in his rock days and shit. But
I know, when he was younger,
right. But I know for a fact that's not how he died. He died. He had a heart attack. It was coming on. He thought he pulled a muscle in his ribs, and he even had a girl massage it.
He was laying down.
Worse. And instead of I actually believe if he was home with Aaron would have made him go to the hospital.
He was judging a show.
That's the problem. He was around that bodybuilding. I don't want to leave this. I don't want to have to go. No,
he didn't want to fucking
right.
He didn't want to shuck his responsibility because he was kind of new doing it still. I got to go back for. Oh, okay. Don't go crazy, Chris. I'll look for it then. I thought you had it. I thought it was something more recent. I didn't know. This is Dave Colombo's balloon. Jesus, these guys are great. In summer, bring Brown Demon after very big Brown Demon. No, I don't know if I don't know what. Again, I can't comment on it. I didn't see it. Nick is usually pretty responsible in his stuff. And because Jerry was never secretive about that addiction he had, could he have just said it in like, not in a, could he have just made it as a question? I still don't think that's right to do that either. But again, I will reserve judgment until I actually see it. But Jerry better than I do, and I think I knew him pretty well. That no fucking way.
No, there's no way. Even Aaron was very upset. We talked to his wife. I'm telling you, the cause of that, he had a heart attack. Basically, it was something like something to do with all that heart. He knew it was there. He didn't know that that's what was happening to him, but it was there for a couple of days, and it was getting worse. The pain in his chest. You got bad pain.
He thought he pulled his fucking like a rib cage muscle.
Right? He thought he must have pulled a rib cage muscle or something like that. But he even had a masseuse at one of the expo there, like massage it, and it got worse. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't getting better. It's just it kept getting. And he went to bed. I guess thought he was going to sleep it off, and he basically died. Like that. Yeah,
he died in his sleep. Really, that's what they.
I mean, like the internet. That's the one thing. Look, I know some of you guys are gonna freak out when I say this too, but I tell Dave all the time, everybody's secretly murdered. Well, Chanel really killed Rich, which is not true. What's his name? Tony Huge had something to do with the fucking Leo's death. They killed him. No. I don't believe that. Leo was a drug. I talked to Leo like 2 weeks before, and he was all freaking out on me over something. Not on me, but he was, he's venting to me about somebody he was freaking out over. John Romano. But I don't want to say who it is. Anyway, but he was mad, and he was freaking out. Okay, and he was mood swingy because he's on drugs. And I honestly feel, those guys would fuck around with psilocybin and all that mushroom. So, you see like fucking, you see your, I know somebody, it's my doctor. I swear to God, Joe, I'll tell you later about this one. My doctor, but she's fucking nuts too. And she fucking does these drugs like that, right? And she's telling me, my father, I had a whole conversation with him last night. I'm like, well, your father's been dead for like 10 years. She goes, I know, but he comes down from heaven. He's telling me, like guiding me, telling me I should do this and do that. And I'm like, well, stop doing those fucking drugs. Maybe he won't be talking to me. But anyway, so I think that like Leo, like, because there was like tools and the fucking toilet was taken off the fucking thing. I think he took the toilet off the fucking thing and basically was having a drug trip. Maybe he saw like fucking demons coming up out of the toilet and I'm going to get that. I don't know. But how did he wind up leaning up against the Joe? You're a detective. How the fuck did like the bathroom door? He was dead like this up against the bathroom door. So you couldn't open the fucking door. You had to, and there was a window that was like this big, right? And it was up high. Dave's telling me, well, maybe Tony got one of those trannies because they're skinny, and the lady boys because they're skinny, and to go through it. Come on, stop this shit. Nobody fucking. Maybe so some skinny lady boy went in there and kicked the shit out of him. No.
Listen, I don't know. I saw some of the crime scene photos. They were not very good photos. They were kind of like that somebody snuck them, and then they were like, I don't know. They weren't really very clear. It was really hard to tell from anything. Did it look like it was an assault, murder kind of thing? Sure, it looked like that. But sometimes when guys are tripping on drugs, they rip their own fucking faces off.
Right. And I believe
they do fucking bad things to themselves that you could not do unless you were tripping on this shit and not feeling the pain from it.
But how did the killer get out of the bathroom and leave his body up against the door? I don't understand that. Like, just I don't believe any of that. Oh, look, all I think is, I just think that he fucking snapped. You know what I mean? And saw like, you start fucking around with mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? And then you start fucking, you do all the psilocybin shit. Right. You see your reality. You see like angels and angelic figures and they're, and, dude, no, you don't. You see fucking, you're tripping. I was riding on a pink unicorn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
Lucy that, you know what LSD is? It's basically the same shit. It's just the same. Yeah. It's like psilocybin,
it's chemicals made of that thing. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, they still haven't figured that out. I don't think the Philippines, was it the Philippines? Where Thailand?
No,
Where
that was like Thailand or some shit like that. But
Thailand. I don't think they have the greatest fucking
police force.
Tools and police, to do that. So but I don't know. I have no idea if he was murdered or not, but I know I have knowledge of people that are tripping on shit that do a lot of self-damage to themselves. They cut their own dicks off sometimes. So
I know shit like that
fucking
too.
weird. They literally cut their cocks off with fucking knives or scissors, and you're talking about that is like the worst thing that you could ever do to yourself. I'd rather rip my face off than my prick.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
Because at least I could jerk off then if nobody wants to fuck me because I have no face. Greg, what do you think about Mike O'Hearn doing a gay scene in that new movie? I mean, this came up on my Instagram the other day. I mean, I like Mike O'Hearn personally. I've had the chance to talk to him a few times. He always was very nice, and he seemed like a good dude. I don't give a fuck about him saying he doesn't use juice. It's business when he says that. Doing a gay scene in a movie, I hope they paid him well. I don't know.
That's all, bro. Listen, let me tell you something. If you had a chance to make a real movie, okay, a motion picture movie, and it's in a movie theater, and you can go sit down and see yourself, and you get some scottle to do it. Do you believe that he was really in there making out like that shit and they're really fucking each other? No.
Hollywood
even Hollywood, you see them when they
make out with the girl.
They're doing this shit. They're not even talking. It's not even real. You know what I mean? It's just a scene. And any one of you guys would do the same fucking thing if you had a chance to get on fucking Hollywood.
How much money is on the table and what is it going to do for you? Plus, his career, he's trying to become a mainstream guy. He's got a good look to him, obviously. He's built. He's good looking. He has fucking hair I'm jealous of.
Right. Wait a minute. I want to make it clear, something clear. If you guys saw that on After Hours, once again, they asked me, like Dave said, would you do the gay scene? I thought he meant a gay scene with like in a gay movie. Do you understand? No, that's a different.
Oh, like a fucking porno.
Right, like a gay porn. I thought that. And then he said, you wouldn't do what Michael. And I said, oh, wait a minute. What Michael Hearn did, I would fucking do. Absolutely.
Yeah, like Brokeback Mountain. Really, those guys aren't gay. They were
right. You really think that, right. Exactly. You think those guys were really banging each other, making out with each other? No. It's a fucking scene.
Oh, it was disgusting.
I know Mike's wife. I know Mike's wife before Mike knows.
Mona.
You know, Mona.
Yeah.
Right.
You know her from.
I know Mona forever. We used to go to the fucking. I used to go. She owned a steakhouse. Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
Nebraska Steakhouse in New York City. She used to own that. We used to go there and eat steaks and shit all the time. You know?
She's still with it. Yeah, I saw them.
I think her brother runs it now.
The Olympia or something. I think I saw Mike and Mona. I said hi to Mona at the Olympia. I think it was.
She's a great girl.
I don't think it was the Arnold. I think it was the Olympia. But
she's a pretty girl too.
Yeah. Why were you two fired from MD, Alex Kelly? Great question. I was fired because I deserved to be fired. I fought with the boss all the time. I should have been fired months before I was. I have no qualms about that. I earned my firing. I'm a little ashamed of it now, looking back. I think I was a little bit of a dick at times. I didn't like certain things Steve did. But it was his company. And he wanted me to do some things that I didn't feel was good integrity as a writer. And I thought I could do better in a different way by telling him that. And he still was the boss. So I earned my firing by fighting with him and, me and Jeff, the producer, used to do that. What the fuck was that video show? From one of those fucking.
I remember that. Yeah,
me and Jeff did that show.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
Yeah, it was the name of the supplement company. Gear. Remember Gear? It was Gear TV.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so I used to go out for my lunch hour and go film the thing because I was supposed to do it on my own time after work, and I'm like, I don't fucking want to do this on my own time. I'm doing it for them. It was MD presents Gear TV, right? It wasn't Muscle Sport Mag. It was MD. If it was Muscle Sport Mag, that's different. I should have done it. So I kind of, I fucking used to do a little double dip, and somebody fucking ratted me out. Somebody was an informant.
Wasn't it at? Was it at? No, it wasn't Adam. Was the other one?
I believe it was Alan. I don't know Alan, the main art director. I don't know for sure,
Alan
but
Dietrich. You're talking about Alan Dietrich,
not Dietrich. Well, yeah, Dietrich, not Big Al.
Dietrich, not Adam Ginsberg.
Yes, no, not Adam. Adam was already fired before that. Adam and I got along wonderful. But there was, it was the art director, the main guy. He was right. Alan. We were friends. Alan, yeah, we were friends, and I don't know for sure if it was him, but I narrowed it down, and I believe it was. But again, I can't say for sure because I don't have any solid proof. But I think somebody told Steve what I was doing, and Steve kind of basically caught me, going out there and doing it. But again, I was doing it for the company. So was I wrong? Yeah, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't going out and getting fucking loaded and taking 3-hour lunches, coming back drunk and fucking falling asleep at my desk. I was doing shit for them. But the agreement was you got to do it on your own time. I shouldn't have agreed to that, but I did. And I used to argue with him about certain things that, I didn't like the way he did certain things, and I let him be known that I didn't like it. So yeah, I got fired because I earned it. You got fired, I think, because fucking he just I think
what
happened was he hard on. Was it still the Adina thing?
Yes, it was Adina came in and she told him, I don't like the way he cusses and uses dirty language. And we're going to go in the whole infamous, we're headed in a new direction. You remember that? We're headed in a new direction.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. I think you should ring the bell for that one. We're headed in a new direction. But anyway, so he sent me a text message and I was like, anyway, and then I went to that thing for the unemployment. Joe came with me. Remember that?
The hearings.
Right, the hearing for the unemployment. Dave keeps saying,
you crushed him.
Yeah.
You could destroy him. He didn't show up. He had Denise.
No, he didn't even show up. He said
with the lawyer. Remember the little girl lawyer they had? She wasn't there.
Yeah, I do.
I would have threw a lawyer on her. But she had no idea. You just completely fucking steamrolled her. And we felt bad for Denise. Because we liked Denise. She was our friend.
We liked Denise.
Yeah, I always liked Denise. I liked everybody there. I got along with everybody. I argued with Steve, and at the thing with Alan at the end, again, if he did do that, he's a dick. If he didn't do it, then I'm wrong for accusing him. But even after Angela, that's for Zioni,
Angela,
he would text me Happy New Year the next year and everything.
She was great.
I left there on bed. She was fantastic. She was really pissed when I got fired because she was telling Steve he's breathing new life into this fucking magazine. I couldn't give ads away, and now it's adding pages. That was when we were doing shit together with the celebrities.
Yes.
So my thing was, you brought me in to bring celebrities and pro athletes to this magazine. I'm doing that, and now you don't want me to do that.
That was so crazy because we brought so many celebrities. My God.
Oh, we were champs with that thing.
I mean, you got Mario Lopez to do the fucking front cover of the magazine and shit and do a whole fucking thing. I don't know, but he would look. The thing is with Blackman, Dave keeps saying, "Oh, you sued him." I did not sue anybody. It wasn't court. It was a hearing.
No, you wanted your unemployment benefits,
right? Because
he was trying to say you were a fucking independent contractor, right? And therefore not entitled to them.
There
was and we proved that you were a fucking steady employee. You don't have to be in office.
I couldn't fucking. He had a contract where if somebody let's say Generation Iron wanted me to do a video for them, right? I'd have to ask his permission because I was on contract with him. Okay, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted. I was anyway. So when I wanted to get my unemployment because I was he was my sole source of income, and he was paying me lovely, by the way, and the thing is that he made a mistake because back then that's when Adina really started too. And Adina was she took over, which was insane to bring her in there. And the magazine tanked. And then after that, he actually called me and apologized. And when I started doing with Iron Mag Labs, they took me back Remember when I started working with Rob and Christian?
Oh,
Duke?
yeah.
He
That's
took me
right. I
back,
forgot
and
about
Steve
that.
Blackman
Yes.
even said, "Greg, the biggest mistake I made was firing you." The magazine started tanking, and there was nothing in the magazine. You know what I mean?
That was like Steinbrenner when he let Reggie go free agency to California. He said his biggest
Pietaro
mistake.
move. Right,
Reggie
the
fucking
Yankees
walked.
went into a dry spell, couldn't win shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Mr. May.
They didn't do anything in the
Winfield,
80s. In the 80s, yeah, to Mr.
80s.
May.
Yeah. But that's, you know what? And then I had run into
And
Steve.
Howard Spira.
Yeah. He was getting the dirt on.
Howard
That's why George
Spira. Yeah, all
got
that bullshit.
suspended for a couple of years. I ran into Steve at the Olympia, I think it was 2022, the one that was at Planet Hollywood in Vegas in December of 2022. And I saw him, and because I had seen him before that, and we just like acknowledged each other, but we had a nice little conversation. Whatever, you know, it's the past is the past. I've admitted a million times I was the one at fault in that. You know, I caused my own fault. I didn't fucking you heard the thing. I taped cursing him out when I got fired.
Oh, I heard it. That was amazing.
I gave him I spoke my fucking piece. But you know, that was 2014. You know, it's like, all right, whatever. If he was like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your family?" And I asked him the same, how the grandkids, blah, blah, blah. You know, good for him. I mean, he shut the magazine down. It's a shame because it was a good magazine.
Great magazine.
Even at the end, it still had chops. It still was a good magazine. I used to flip through it on a fucking newsstand.
Sure.
You know,
I still
look through it.
Joe, I still talk with him once in a while. He called me when I was in the hospital last year. You know, when I was in the hospital, he called me and made sure I was okay and everything.
He's a great guy. He's a businessman.
Right.
Yeah. He's a businessman. He had certain ways about his business that I do business differently. Doesn't make mine right, his wrong. That's just different.
I love Steve Blackman. The only flaw, in my opinion, with him is that he's too much of a fan of the sport, and he let that get it. You know, sometimes you may like a guy, but don't sign him and give him fucking $150,000. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? He was, you know, but Joe and I were kicking ass with that radio show. I mean, even to this day, Dave Palumbo says, "How did you two do it?" I mean, we had major celebrities.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what he wanted. That's why he brought me in.
Major celebrities.
You got me in. It wasn't for you. I would have never fucking been in.
No, but that's neither here nor there. But the thing is that we had people that, like, we were ahead before there was even a Joe Rogan. Joe and I were getting shows. 2 shows had TMZ.
Yeah,
the one with that girl wanted to fight Snooki, whatever.
Angelina Pivarni.
Yeah, Angelina.
Back on now with the
and then the one with
Jersey
Creed.
Life. Yeah, and the Creed with Paulie. This one's funny. I almost scratched my labia off after a guy ate me out after eating spicy food. Probably would have ripped those lips clean off if I was on drugs. See, cutting your dick off. Just she wanted to scratch her labia off. The dude, what's up, fellas? What up, dude? Speaking of porn, you fellas remember Vanessa Del Rio? She's from Brooklyn. Of
course.
Yeah. She used to work out in a gym in South Brooklyn. I forget the name of it, but on the second floor, and they had a big picture of her sign, you know.
Yeah, she might have. She might have.
She was the devil, not the devil and Miss Jones, but there was another movie she was in that was one of the famous
she was
pornos.
She was sexy, but she was a little big for me. You know what I mean? I like him skinny.
Big,
you know, she was like beefy, big
Spanish broad. Annie, lucky he didn't eat your starfish. Ooh. It might have cured it. The enzymes from the fucking.
You gotta
saliva.
eat the ass. If you don't eat the ass, you're not a legit fucking.
Yeah, you're not a real man. You're a fucking pussy. UFC fighters are yes, Nick. Good point. Yes, that's the way Dana White does it. They're independent contractors. They can fight in any organization. Shock the UFC still gets away with the treatment of the fighters and their pay.
Yeah,
I think Dana White doesn't want to pay them when they're hurt. That's why he does it fight for fight, like.
But to see, I was exclusive. I couldn't work for anybody else. It was I didn't have. I had to get permission.
They wouldn't get unemployment. You got it.
Right, I got it because they're like when he looked at my fucking thing. He said, the arbitrator, whatever. He said, this contract's making him exclusive. So how can he go? You know, how can he say he's independent? He can go work for other people or go do any. I couldn't. I could not. One time I said, John was with the RX, and you know, Dave was the rival, and you know, Steve Blackman would always watch what's going on RX. And I one time made a comment that I thought John Romano was a very talented writer because John's he's very articulate, very smart.
Right.
And
he said,
he freaked out. He told me, "Don't ever give that fucking guy a compliment." I'm just saying, like I had it like that. Like I couldn't even. I remember I got Derek Anthony the gig right with Blog Talk Radio. That fucking guy asked me 1,000,000 times to come on his show. 1,000,000 times. I kept telling him because Steve Blackman's like, "Nope, can't do it. Nope, I don't want you on his show."
What are you gonna do?
Because he didn't like Derek. Because Derek would come on, and, was thrown off the forums and shit like that. And the MD, remember forums? But they were thrown off.
No, that's how I met you.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Forum.
They were fun.
I DM'd you.
Is that? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I used to follow you on there. I would comment on your posts, and then I DM'd you. I said, "Hey, I write for a sports magazine. I want to interview you."
I remember that part of it. I don't even remember.
But it all started from the MD forums. Yep.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we got on that. That was crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they were fucking awesome at one time. They were
the forums are the way to go. They were there before there was social media, and that's where breaking news.
That's what social media killed message boards. Yep.
Oh God, is Get Big even a thing anymore?
I don't even know. Like bodybuilding.com's forum was fucking huge. They had a big one. Get Big was great. Get Big was like the hardcore one. That was like where you could talk about juice and cycles and shit like that.
And that was like the first one.
Yeah. And MD's was great. And then when Dave and John first opened after they got fired and went to in 2009 to RX, their forum was fucking
their forum was kicking too.
Their forum was really, really good. I used to be on there all the time also. But those were a lot of fun. It was a good way to really get your name out there and touch base with some of these guys that like you'd have real bodybuilders posting on there, pros and stuff. A lot of guys, they was just really Cedric McMillan. Remember when Dan Dillon, the mayor, had the whole thing with Cedric? It was like Cedric was being like a little mature, I thought, about that. He was crying about
I like Cedric, but he was a little touchy out there. Yeah, dude, I remember going. Robbie Duran told me. Robbie Duran's like, he was backstage at a show that Cedric won, and Cedric, they were actually in a hotel room rather, and he said that he was like, Cedric was like all depressed, and he's like, "What are you depressed? You just won the show," and he goes, "Yeah, but I shouldn't have won. I feel like I wasn't my best," and he was like, smacked like this. "What's wrong with you? Stop!" He was actually crying. Like I won, and I shouldn't have won. I mean, I fucking really didn't look good, and I felt like. What it is? He was manic depressive. That's what it is.
Well, that was his person. It's a shame that he died because he had such a fucking. And who discovered Cedric McMillan, Greg?
He wrote to me and said, that's the whole thing. He wrote to me and he said to me, "I'm in the Army." He sent pictures of him working out on like fucking pieces of equipment that he made from like bomb fucking shit and everything like that.
But he had like the wheels from a Jeep and the fucking like rods and stuff.
Equipment from pieces of like broken machines and broken fucking Humvees and stuff. And then he said to me, "I might not make it back. I don't think I'm gonna live."
Yeah,
he kept writing to me, so I put him in the magazine as future stars. I remember
the exact column. Yep, with those pictures with him wearing the fatigues and shit. Yep. And
so
Steve,
hold on one second. I got a piece so bad, and she took the bucket's not here. Hold on 1 second.
The bucket's not here.
That's why I'm moving. Hold on.
Well, yes, if it wasn't for Greg getting, Cedric liked Greg's column. I guess he used to subscribe to MD and have it mailed to Iraq during Enduring Freedom, whatever, or Operation, whatever, that the weapons of mass destruction fucking nonsense that Bush fucking lied about. So Cedric used to be on base and read MD, and he actually wrote Greg physical letters, if I'm not mistaken, and sent him pictures, and Greg put it in the magazine, and Steve saw it, said, "Who the fuck is this guy? He's huge." He was, a fucking soldier, but he was fucking jacked to fucking to the balls. Did he send Greg dick pics? No, I don't think so.
Who's that?
Now, Cedric mailed you handwritten letters and photographs, right?
Ooh, that was some piss I just took. That's why I was kind of moving around a lot like this and shit.
Yeah, a little
She
pre-cum.
took my fucking. Oh my god! No, you know when you get out and you got to pee so bad.
I got to pee soon too. So we've been going for fucking 2:18. Thank you, bye-bye. So a couple of more minutes, I'm gonna have to tap out and go.
All right.
But am I wrong? Did Cedric mail you like actual letters with photos?
He sent me pictures, yeah, photos, actual. I put them in the magazine.
I remember I remember the exact issue. Yeah.
And you know what's funny? He wasn't.
And Steve saw it, and it was like, "Who is this guy?"
He was jacked. He had some great genetics, beautiful shape on him. He wasn't the jack guy that we see, and then all of a sudden he started competing there. But he always stayed in touch with me about that stuff, because I was the one who put him in the magazine the very first time.
The first time, yeah. But
that's
that was
funny because Steve Blackman goes to me, Greg, I got to shape it. And he shows me this fucking on a phone. Back then it was a flip phone, but he showed me a picture. He goes, I'm talking to this guy. I got to see this guy. He's like, and I said, Steve, he's been in the magazine. He goes, he has? Like Steve thought he discovered him. You know what I mean? I go, yeah.
Wasn't that the New York Pro when we were leaving and you were?
Yes.
I remember the exact fucking night. Yep.
Because he thought he found I found this guy. And I said,
you found him months before.
Steve, he's been in the magazine for like a year or two ago. It was like 2-3 years because he was in battle in like fucking Kuwait or wherever the fuck it was back then, or Afghanistan. And then he would send pictures. He was in the army, but he was overseas. He was deployed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and he was in pieces of like fucking. Yeah. He would take wheels from a car or a Humvee, and then take a piece of metal and make a bench out of it, and he would fucking stand there. But he's got that genetic. You know what I'm saying? And son of a bitch.
Then I think they put him stateside to let him become a bodybuilder, and then he finished his service and he was able to leave. I think
he became a recruiter. I think he became a recruiter. Right. That's why he stayed home. And then he was telling me, and then when me and him have been talking all along, right? We were talking, back and forth. I put him in the magazine. I put his pictures in the magazine. And then 2 years later, Steve Blackman was like, this guy starting to win national level shows. Yeah. He's going to be the next big thing. Look. And I go, Steve. He goes, his name is Cedric McMillan. And I go, Steve, he's been in your magazine. What? And I said, Steve, he's been in your magazine. I put him in that fucking
conversation. We were leaving that fucking college by the West Side Highway.
Yes,
we were under the awning thing going towards the stairs.
Yes, Joe, I forget. You were there with me, right? You remember that?
Yes.
It was right outside the fucking venue. Yes.
Yep.
We were leaving at the end of the night and showing me on a flip phone. And I'm like, Steve, he's been in your magazine, or he thought I discovered the jewel. You know what I mean? Like but Cedric could have won more. I would see him backstage at shows and he'd just be like this, and then not even pumping up. He had manic depressive. I don't know if that's from the war. It just was built into him.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? I mean, listen, he was in the shit for real. It wasn't like he.
Oh yeah, man, he was in heavy duty fighting.
Yeah. When is the third story of Storytime coming out on Generation Iron?
I think I did 3 seasons. I think I need to do a 4th. But Vlad has talked to me about it. But I don't know. If not, I'll do one maybe on my channel, or Joe and I could do shit or whatever. We'll do. I'm gonna do stuff.
Yeah, but that story time was fucking awesome. All of it.
Yeah, the way we
Linda McMahon's story time was great. Why did no one ever beat the crap out of Robert Chang? I thought Robert Chang was all right. I liked him.
It's not Robert Chang. It's Robin Chang.
Oh, Robin. Yes. Robin Chang, when I worked for Flex, was very nice to me. And afterwards, too. Yeah. I always got along really good with him. Right. I don't know why is anybody mad at him? I don't know.
It's just I don't know why you guys think. Let me tell you something. Some of the guys, I knew Ben Weeder. Ben Weeder was great. I knew Joe Weeder. But I'm saying, Ben and I actually sat and we were talking about Civil War and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, he was his phone number.
I had his phone number at the end there before he died. He was great. I loved that guy. I was in Joe, I was in the fucking airport with him, right? And him and I were talking, and we both went through the metal detector together, and they stopped him. He was almost 90 years old or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
He's a 90-year-old old Jewish guy, and you're fucking and like, you know, they put him in that glass booth and shit, you know. And then the funniest thing is them TSA agents are all like savages too. Like, yo, man, what's up? You know, put the lime in the coconut. You know, Joe, put the lime in the coconut. Go over. And I'm like, dude, where did he find those TSA agents? You know what I mean? But they think they're cops. Like they you know, they got federal fucking badges and shit.
They're nasty fucks, most of them.
Oh my God.
I can't stand them. I fucking
I'm like, he's a fucking what do you think? He's a terrorist?
You know why they do that? You know why they do that? So people don't accuse them of only fucking tossing Muslims that they think are terrorists. So they get the old fucking white guy or white lady and do the fucking the extended search or whatever. It was a glass booth. I'll never forget. Yeah, like, they do that so they can't say they're all fucking Muslim. So they do a whole bunch of white people and one Muslim guy that they think. So it's all fucking fluff, basically. Ben just got stuck in the fucking middle of a political nonsense.
He was
you guys need to get a catheter sponsorship. Nick, that is I agree. Too many prostate massages for Joe. I wish I should only be so lucky. Did Cedric pass from a heart attack? What a great physique. I don't remember.
You know, I forgot what he passed away from, Joe.
I have no idea, but he was only like 46 or something, if less than that, maybe.
Yeah, he wasn't, but he had a family and everything.
He got profiled later on. He wasn't young when he got this because he did the military stuff.
Yes, he got it. Things for him were later, but he had such genetic structure. The minute when he was in Afghanistan, when he was sending me these photos, he was jacked as hell and looked really good, but he wasn't on drugs. He wasn't on steroids.
Natty, at the time he was natural.
Right.
Yeah,
the minute he took drugs, because if you build a natural, foundation, a guy was natural for 23 years. You build a natural foundation. The minute you take drugs, bro, you just go like this. You know what I mean? All these other guys start when they're 16 years old. Then when you see them, dude, you ever see what like Tom Prince in person was a monster, right? Yeah. Then I saw him before he died, bro. He was a beanpole. Looked like he looked like Lance Armstrong. You know what I'm saying? He was like skinny, like a rail and shit. You know, some of these guys, even like Paul Dillette and people like that. If you see what they look like now, they look like they never touched a weight. Like that guy was one.
You know what? That guy, at least they're healthy though. You know?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Dude, I saw fucking was it Tony Freeman?
Yes.
Gash and Tony Freeman were together, and I interviewed them at some expo a few years ago. Now, Tony Freeman competed up until not that long ago. And the X-Man, he was fucking huge, tall and
he's a genetic freak. Yep.
He is so thin now, but you know what? He's smart because he's fucking healthy. He's not putting his body through all of this crazy shit. So he survived the game, and he's not gonna fucking survive. He's not gonna roll the dice that he's getting older. He wants to fucking live, and good for him. He's smart. Who gives a shit?
So I'm a hyper responder. If I did a cycle, like if I went on steroids and did cycle, I would blow. But I'm 65, and his 65-year-old heart. It doesn't matter how great a shape you're in. If you don't fucking take care of yourself, I'm diabetic, the whole bit. You got to take care of yourself. You can't worry about being jacked anymore. I'd rather be Diesel. John Romano was a fat kid. He was like a jelly belly.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Same thing with Evan Senapani. And Evan Senapani was a jelly belly. I seen pictures of Evan. He showed me. I couldn't believe it. Even John, creases and a fat that were picked on. Now, if you see John in person, he's shredded. He's not big. But he's very
next to me at the Olympia last year. Yeah,
he's very well put together. John Romano's like Diesel. He's not Jack. He's D. I like that right now because I look. I used to be very athletic, and when I got super jacked, I was fucking lost every bit of that.
All of that.
It's not good.
Dennis Wolf still looks great. Greg, was the story seeing him sweat backstage. Yeah, Wolf's got his own supplement company. I interviewed him. I think it was at the Olympia again, the same Olympia where I was with John. Dennis Wolf looks fantastic. He's in great shape, and he's smart because he's making money in the industry that he's well known in, and he's not fucking.
Oh, I know what he's talking.
What was the sweating back? Was that the one with his back had fat in it or something?
Yes, dude. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm going, what the fuck is he talking?
The year he didn't play. Right?
He was jacked, and these guys have like veins and grainy, hard, and fucking. I'm looking at his abs, and they're like fucking, I could see the grain and shit. And then when he turned around, he had like a roll of fat on the lower back. And I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? You know?
I don't know.
These guys do this hill, like, I remember Vinny Galante was telling me about that shit, like Helix or whatever the fuck, Helix, and it's supposed to be like an injectable computerol with, I think, thyroid hormone in it or something like that. It's I don't quote me, guys, 100%. Helios or Helix, and he was telling me, they just shoot it right in the fat, and it almost like melts that fat. Like
right before they take
Vinny telling me, like, remember back in the day, they always said you can't spot reduce. Well, now you can. You know, so I'm like, well, somebody should have shot his lower back. It wasn't like bad fat, but when you got nothing but grain right here and there's a little crease in the back, you say, how the fuck is that? You know?
Yeah. It's weird, but he was big, tall, and big. He had a beautiful big back, so I guess, you know, his body just retained some water, and the fucking gravity brought it down.
You gotta understand.
Egregious, what's up, Egregious? He's been watching our show every week. Thank you again for coming on. Wish some of these kids that are 15 and 17 at my gym would listen to you guys about gear use. That don't listen to me and some other fellas. Have them tune in. We'll get them on. They can come on the show, talk to us. Face to face if they want. If not, they can go incognito on there. Yeah, again, your body is producing more testosterone than you could ever shoot.
Oh my
at
God.
that age. Maybe not at 15, but between 16 and 20, man, you can't match with a fucking needle what 100%. Is going on in there.
Dude,
and then you fucking stop the production.
100%.
And so now you're gonna need TRT. You're gonna need TRT.
Yep.
Love you guys. Love you too, bro.
Thank you.
Anybody that watches the show, we gotta love. These young momos don't listen. Well, you know what it is? And the same thing. I think I may have said it before, and at the I hope I'm not being redundant. I'll make it the clip notes version of it. My son played, high school football, and some kids on the team. I knew these kids since they were fucking kindergarten. I coached them in other sports, a lot of them, and I could see which kids were fucking using. And
it's crazy
when they were like on varsity and stuff. And my son would even tell me, I'd be like, just if you're ever in a conversation about it, just let them know that what they're doing, of course, at the time they're taking it, their body is producing so much natural testosterone. Now they're adding to it. So the brain hasn't told the balls to stop yet. So of course they're going to explode and look great and fucking knock pancake guys and fucking destroy them on the field, right? Yeah. But as soon as the fucking brain, it might take a year, I don't know, it could be 6 months, a year. The brain tells the ball, stop making it. Now all you're doing is shooting it. Football season's over, you stop taking. Now you got nothing.
Oh, it stops.
Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
Right, Pee Wee Herman. If it stops as soon as you start to, because what happens is your body, it struggles to maintain homeostasis, normality. And when you say, holy shit, this kid's injecting you gotta remember that it builds up. Okay, so you keep taking steroids, it doesn't just get out of your system like that. It builds up. So even if you're taking 200 milligrams TRT, you can go get a fucking blood test, and it might say you got 1,000. Your testosterone's 1,000 because it builds. But the thing
that's what mine was. Yeah, my guy got me down to 3/4 of a shot because he said it was 1,000, and he said he doesn't want me up that high. He wants me about 750, so he gave me 3/4 of a shot. I was like at fucking 1,500 when I was using way too much. So to me, 1,000 is okay. Yeah, 15 was too high.
I was taking 6,000.
Yeah, you probably have 6,000 fucking.
I was taking 6,000. I do 200 now.
You're on a 10-day. Right? You do every 10.
Yeah, and I feel great with that. And it doesn't do anything. I gotta be honest with you. Physique-wise, it doesn't do shit. Joe, you there?
Oh, there I go.
Yeah, there you are. I'm just gonna say you were frozen.
I know. Yeah, I started seeing the spinning. Victor Richards was quoted as saying Gregg was the worst spotter he ever trained with.
No, I don't think.
Was it the sponge story or the sweaty elbows?
He told Dave that he doesn't remember. First of all, I didn't look like this. Okay, I was a young guy, but I was built already. I mean, you've seen the pictures of me with Samir Banu. It was then. And he remembers when I talked to him because I got mad at him too recently.
He was a dick to you.
Yeah, but even like when he told Dave, I don't remember that. I said, yes, you do, you fuck. I put my hand. What happened was my hands kept sliding, so I used the sponges that I work out in. And the Barbarian Brothers, who were there every day. You know, I used to give them rides. They were fucking momos. Anyway, they're like, why are you using sponge? I said, because his fucking got oil on his arms and he freaked out. Now, I don't know if it was oil like like posing oil, but he might, blacks put on like cocoa butter and shit like that. That shea butter and shit. Right, makes them fucking, so they don't have ashes, whatever it was oily. And my hands kept sliding. He would get mad because I'd have to push on his elbows. And he, little man, he kept saying, little man, put the lime in the coconut. Put the lime in the coconut.
The Uncola. Yeah. 7-Up commercial. Guy.
The Uncola. Put the lime in the coconut. Remember that shit? A lot of people have no idea. A lot of people have no idea.
The old 7-Up commercials. Yeah.
Put the lime in the coconut. The coconut, the lime, and the lime in the coconut, the lime, and the coconut. Anyway,
the island guy.
So that's what happened.
He was being a jerk off to you. I mean,
oh yeah, he was a jerk off a few times to me.
He was a dick back then. Yeah.
And then he was coming at me after I told the Baron Brush. He's like, "Why'd you open your mouth?" And he was like fucking saying his shit, right? Because instead of breaking their balls and saying shit to them, like, yo, fuck you, so what? I just put shea butter or whatever the fuck it was he put on him. You know what I mean? He goes to me, why did you tell them? And I said, they just asked me why am I using the I told them because your arms are fucking slippery. And you're
nothing bad.
Right. Yeah. So then I said the infamous statement I always say, because he's kind of coming at me, and I wasn't sure if he was going to jump on me. But at that time I weighed maybe $165 and he was probably like close to 300. I mean, he was a fucking monster.
Huge.
And then I said my famous statement. I said, bro, I'm from New York. I ain't afraid of you. That's what I said. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, you got
to pull it out of your ass at that point.
I was going to kick him. Like if he came at me, I was going to throw a quick in his balls and then run. I swear to God, I was going to run. I was going to kick him. He was going to kick him. And then run the fuck out of there. And then I saw Samir talking to him later on and Casey Viator. And they kept looking at me. And I'm like, oh no. Oh fuck, am I going to be able to leave this gym or am I going to get beat up? Like I thought maybe, and I don't think, because then I became friends with Samir and there was no problems. Yeah. But in my brain, I was like, oh shit, because I saw him looking at me and he looked like this and all three of them would look at me and I wasn't sure what the fuck, like, am I going to get jumped like by fucking three, like, but I guess it wasn't even about, maybe I just saw them looking at me or because they didn't say anything to me, but I saw Casey Viator giving me the stink eye and shit. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get my ass kicked by fucking like Muscle Fitness magazine, Muscle Builder back then. Muscle Builder magazine.
Power and Builder. Yeah.
But I gotta tell you something. The two most impressive guys, I tell everybody this, when I was in Gold Gym 1981, was Victor Richards was so to this day, all these giant monsters, the Nick Walkers and all, they don't want to date Victor Richards size-wise. I'm just telling you that I'm telling you, I've seen Big Rammy in front of me. They do not want to. Victor Richards was 3D, bro. He was so fucking big. These guys.
I never saw him in person.
Oh my God, Joe.
In the magazines, he looked big, but you saw him in person.
Joe, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying anything fucked up here, but he's got that fucking Caribbean black genetic. It's that fucking kid at 16 years old. There's pictures of him was gigundo. Okay, lifting like fucking rocks in his backyard. So he was fucking tremendous. And if you cut his leg like this, like if you cut his leg sideways like this, like a tree, his leg was like a 45-pound plate round. I mean, I know Platts is shorter though. He's bigger, So his legs, tall, I mean, Platts' legs were more impressive because he had that like sick look. You know what I mean? His hamstring. Yeah. But Victor Richards, size-wise, was so fucking big. They were like garbage pails, like two garbage. Yeah. And he was so wide, Joe. He was like 6 feet wide.
Guys weren't big like that back then.
No, nobody was big. I mean, he made Lee Haney, who was a monster, look like a dot. I'm just telling you, he was that big. But the other guy, who people don't realize was not only jacked, but he had a gorgeous body. Believe it or not, was the kind of body you'd want to have with the small waist, but he had cannonball shoulders and broad with these giant arms. Was Rory Liedlmeyer. I tell everybody, I'm still friends with Rory. Yeah. Dude, that fucking, I was like this.
I like that.
When I saw he was with John Aranita and Rudy Hermosillo. Rudy Hermosillo is the guy that won the Teenage America. They said he was really like 25. You know, remember Stallone gave him the trophy and put the fucking trophy on his head? Stallone was wearing a leisure suit, white leisure suit. It's like 1979. Anyway, so, and Stallone was into bodybuilding all the way back then. But anyway, so he was with them guys. And I you know, I still talk to Rory now. I was just a kid in the gym. I was just a face in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like these guys like, oh, that's Gregg Valentino. Like, you know, like Joe, you go to the gym now and you see, you know, there might be a kid that's 21, 20. This is a guy you see every day. He's built or whatever. But he's not like, you know, and now, you know, 30, 40 years later, he's, you know, somebody in the industry. You know what I mean? You know, but I remember Rory was just and Rory's not short either. You know what I'm saying? He's, you know, he looked like 6 feet to me. I don't know what his exact height, but he's close. You know, and he was.
You've always said that about Lita Maya. I've heard you say that, and so that's he had a very fucking good build. He's talking about the kids in the gym. You didn't cycle until you were 28 and been lifting since I'm 12. 28's even kind of young, but 15, you know, it's
if you're gonna compete, I understand, but otherwise, you really don't need it.
Yes,
until you're, you know, you should like really milk your. I was 35.
40. I was 40 when I started the second time. Yeah, I was stupid and did it the first time when I was a kid, just because, you know, everybody was doing it. I wanted to try it. These old gym stories kill me. Those gyms had to be absolute circuses back then. They were. Yeah, Gregg's in the column. I fucking love these fucking stories. With the Barbarian brothers, weren't the Barbarians going crazy parties back at the people's houses back in those days?
Oh my God,
they were wild. Those guys, they were fucking.
Joe, I saw them. They were at a party and I was walking. I used to have to walk everywhere because I didn't have a car. So I used to walk everywhere. And, you know, I was walking, I think it was to the Venice Noodle Factory back then. I don't even know if it's still around. Anyway, I was walking and I could hear the music, and all the bodybuilders lived in that area, right around Gold's Gym and Santa Monica, which is right next to it. And, you know, I remember walking and I saw like birds. There's like all these birds on the sidewalk and they're like pecking and shit, you know what I mean? And I look, and it was fucking one of the Barbarian brothers. I saw him come running out and he hurls over the fucking side, and they were eating his puke. You know what I mean? Like, he puked over the side. They were I seen him puke in the gym. I puked onto some girl. This I think I showed you the Mexican chick, right? Didn't I show that like a week or two ago? Or am I thinking of Joe? Was that on this show?
I remember the story though. With the
and I mean, he you know, they vomited and it would splat like right on her fucking feet. And she cried and they didn't care. They vomit and then they took a rubber mat and would throw it over the vomit.
Oh,
you might say, why did they vomit? Because
they trained so hard, right? They were like nuts with it.
Yes, and you know what? They used to drink this shit. I remember it was carob milk. It was like chocolate milk, but it was carob, CAROB back then.
I know what you mean. The fake chocolate. Yeah,
Joe, California was way ahead of New York in health food shit and health stores.
Yeah.
When you were younger, I don't know if you remember, like when you were a teenager or a young teenager, they had health food stores. They didn't really have GNCs, at least where I live.
It was like the weirdo health food shit.
Yeah, like, you know, Nature's Way and shit. And you walk in there and, you know, have the guy with the ponytail, like, yeah, man, I'm eating alfalfa sprouts. So good for you.
Candles on, you know,
incense. Candles made out of like fucking earwax or something. But anyway, so anyway, you know, they would drink that California was way ahead of that. So they would drink this carob flavored milk, and they would, I think that they had a problem with. There's two kinds of people, because Schwarzenegger would have the same problem. If there are certain guys that have to train on an empty stomach. If you have any food in your stomach, you're ready to hurl. You know what I'm saying? Like if you train hard, you fit you know, I'm going to throw that food up. Me, I'm the opposite. The other side is rules. I have to have food.
Yeah.
Right. I can eat a banquet meal and have the greatest workout of my life. If I'm empty, if I don't have any food in my stomach and I train with no food, that's when I start getting a little nauseous, because I train really hard and low rest. And that will actually make me feel like, you know, I get to drink. So I actually can't, you know, plus now I'm diabetic, so I hit low blood sugar and I'm in there shaking with ice cold. so I have to keep little sugar things on me. But I usually eat something. Only if I hit sugar low. Only if I hit a sugar low, I'll know because it's like
the diabetes. Yeah, you feel
right.
that.
I carry a blood test kit with me. You know, Lucia has it even in her pocketbook.
Yeah, no, you're smart. You're staying on top of it to fucking if you need to do something.
Because low blood sugar can kill you. You can die. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so because it's weird. Because if I ate something like a slice of pizza, my sugar can go through the ceiling, right? And then it drops really low, like 50 or so, you know. And for me, that's dangerous.
For that meal.
Right. If I take insulin, it'll bring it even lower. I have to take sugar in. Like, that's why I remember, like, in some of the movies, you see somebody's diabetic and they give them orange juice, like in Steel Magnolias. What's her name? That drink. You know, you have to bring your sugar up. Otherwise, they'll fucking kill you.
They can go into a coma. And,
right. If you want to kill yourself, you know, if you want to kill yourself, go have an empty stomach, keep your blood sugar really low, and then shoot insulin. You'll fucking die. You know what I mean? It can't. It's bad. Yeah. The insulin lowers the blood. Right.
It crashes. Any Mark Gastineau stories from back in the day? Did his wife really have pussy cancer? I don't. And Doug Bryan, the one with the Jets, I just realized it's spelled I-E-N. So I'm just joking. Did you deal with Gastineau at all? Was he a guy?
No, but I have a
Gastineau story.
Yeah, throw it. I want to hear it. I love that guy. Let me tell you something. 270. What he ran the fucking 40-yard dash in like 4.1 or something like that. Could jump over. I mean, that guy was a machine. I want to hear your story.
He was so athletic. I actually had to arrest him one time, and I didn't have a choice in the matter.
No way.
It was 1997 or 98. His, at the time, estranged wife, not the first one. He was married to some fucking wacky broad who was like a gym trainer. This is after when Mark was already, you know, he was using drugs and shit way after his career was over. Even the boxing career, he did that for a little bit. He was fully retired by then. And he had an order of protection where he wasn't allowed to go to this woman's house. They lived in an apartment building on Queens Boulevard in Forest Hills area, and I worked the squad in that area. So I get a report, and I look at the perp's name, and it's Marcus Gastineau. So I'm like, obvious, there's not many fucking Gastineaus around here.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
So my boss we both were Jet fans, and I go, Joe, he goes, I made sure you got that one. I'm like, holy shit. And it's VOP, a violation of protection. It's no discretion. You have to make the arrest. You can't just, blow it off. So I know he had gotten arrested a few times from this same thing. So I contacted a detective in Manhattan that arrested him a couple of months earlier. I said, "Do you have his lawyer's info?" He said, "Yeah." He gave me the lawyer's info. It was a Friday afternoon before a holiday weekend. I called the lawyer. I tell the lawyer what happened. I said, so-and-so made out a fucking VLP because he came there drunk or whatever and was ringing the bell and she didn't buzz him in. And I'm like, he's, have him turn himself in. We're not going to we're going to keep this on the down low and all of that. She goes, he come in on Tuesday. And like I said, it's a holiday weekend. I'm like, Tuesday, what time? 9 a.m. I said, Tuesday, 9 a.m. it is. So he had the whole fucking weekend to have a good time. Comes in early with the lawyer, very humble. The fucking guy was great, bro. He ended up becoming like friendly. I had his cell phone number.
Wow.
Because I actually wrote a letter to the judge saying he turned himself in. He's did all of this other stuff that he was, he gave us no problem or whatever. And he ended up like kind of hanging out in the squad a lot of times with us. He would bring us like things and sign them. He would go to jet camp when it was at Hofstra still. And come back with footballs and yearbooks and sign it. And, I had a yearbook to Joe, thanks, Mark, and all that. And one of the guys in Homicide who was next door to us, his kid was a Pee-wee football player. Mark Gastineau, the guy asked him, and he says, where do you want me to go? What time? The guy told me Mark came and he did the whole practice with the kids. Now, the kids didn't really know who he was, but the coaches know them. Right, the parents and the coach. He goes, this fucking guy was down and doing stances with the fucking defensive lineman and telling the offensive lineman how to block. He said he was the fucking sweetest guy in the fucking world. So my only experience with him, and he knew that it was business. We didn't do it. I still have a Polaroid, me, my boss, and Mark in the middle of it. He's fucking big fucking dude. But he was skinny and stuff then. And then I ran into him another time at a Jet game, and I said hi to him there, and I haven't had any contact with him since. This is going back, like I said, probably the time I saw him after that was like 2006 or so, like maybe like 8 years after the arrest. And he's had his issues with drugs and stuff, and it's a shame because he was such a fucking good dude. And when my friend Marty told me that he went and did this thing with the kids, right? And to me, that's if any athlete that does shit like that, can do never. Oh, I agree. That's my kind of guy. Yeah, with the kids, yeah, you're a fucking winner all the way. I don't give a fuck if you had problems and you dealt with them, and it is what it is. And I know he hasn't had the best headlines over the years, getting in trouble with stupid shit with the law, but he's never did anything. I don't think that he's like that anymore. I think he's a little triggered right now. Does he have like Parkinson's or something? He's got something, because when he was yelling at Brett Favre, did you see that video recently? Because he was recently. No, I didn't see that. No, it was over the last few months. Michael Strahan broke Mark Gastineau's single season sack record, and it was the last game of the year, and Brett Favre basically took a dive and got sacked. Now, Mark was at that game and congratulating Strahan and all of that. But now this thing, Brett Favre walked up to him in somebody's video, and he's like, I'm fucking pissed at you. You took a dive, and my record got broke because of that. And I'm like, I really think he has brain injuries from his and the boxing. He took a beating in boxing. He told us, I fought Alonzo Highsmith, who was an ex-NFL running back for the Houston Oilers. He goes, I'm figuring I don't need to train. This guy's a football player like me. He goes, he beat the fucking, I've never gotten beaten like that in my life. And we sat on the plane. They were in Japan. We sat on the plane together on the ride home, and I told him, man, you just fucking kicked my ass. Fucking, it was a real short fight. So I think a lot of those things and the football injuries, I think he has the CTE with the brain injuries.
He has something. Because
something's not right.
Yeah, I've seen him with his wife, and he's kind of like very submissive now, and like, hi, I'm with my wife. I'm Mark Gastineau, and I'm like, like, holy shit, you can see it on him, even in his face. He looks a little chagad, It
was kind of like that when I ran into him at the Jet game, and like I said, it was 2006. It looked like he was getting, not like dementia, but they kind of get like dementia.
It's like that though. I seen him. Yeah, it's kind of like dementia. Something. He has something with him though. It's not a normal thing.
It's a shame. Nick's gonna bring in some Jet fan. You are, LOL. Yeah, like I said, if this was a fucking any discretion, I would have shit canned it and let him fucking walk. I wouldn't have, but. When you lock up somebody for violating order protection, the judge is the complainant. The judge who signs it, not even the woman or whoever is the other party.
You have to do it, right?
People state of New York, you gotta. If you don't do it, you can get yourself in because a lot of times they go back and beat the fuck out of the lady and stuff. So I did take a chance by giving him a 3-day weekend. Because I've been like, no, he's got to come in by 6 o'clock tonight. Clock's ticking. I could have been a dick like that. But I gave my word. She said, I'm giving you my word as his attorney. He will not bother her. He will be there Tuesday morning. Good enough for me. My boss signed off on it too. And we were just like, all right, I hope he doesn't go back to a house over the weekend. And it's funny because now she's sitting at my desk and I had a little mini Jet helmet on, like, I had like little pictures of my wife, whatever, my daughter at the time, my son wasn't born yet. And I had like a little Jet helmet. She goes, oh my God, you're a Jet fan. You're going to let him go. And I'm like, she was wacky, bro. She was running all over the office. I'm like, could you sit the fuck down? Tell me what the fuck happened. I mean, she was a fucking wackadoo. And then he got divorced. He got involved with somebody else, and he did some stupid things with her. And like I said, they just, we kind of lost.
He went with
contact.
some pretty girls, but the girl he's with now, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen him, recently. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That guy.
His first wife, Lisa, was fucking adorable.
That's it, Lisa Gaston. I remember her.
Yeah, that when he was a jet, he was
he was a bad
superstar. He did the Jack LaLanne commercials with the pec deck. Remember?
Yeah.
Boom. Join Jack LaLanne. Special deal, whatever. Now,
I just remember too that the Susan Hoffs walk like an Egyptian, and he's on the field walking with just a fucking no shirt on, and he's like this, and he had abs at 270. You know what I'm saying?
He used to be on the cover of Muscle Fitness all the time. Yeah, he was ripped.
Yeah, man, he was a good looking
guy.
He was
juiced. He was juiced, but he fucking worked out hard though.
Same thing with Klecko, but Klecko wasn't built like him or good. It wasn't a good looking guy.
He was just bulky. Yeah,
like
he was a bulky.
But this guy was diesel. He used to run. I'm telling you, he did the 40-yard dash in like 4.1 or something like that. He was
very fucking athletic for a defensive lineman. He was
very
different.
I don't like football, but I certainly, and if I did have to pick a team, I don't never go against New York. I'm Giants first, then Jets, but just like Yankees, Mets. But I don't like Strahan, so I like him. So I would rather see him have the record. Gastineau.
Yeah.
I hate Strahan.
Yeah, he's just fucking.
I hate him. But
mainstream kind of fucking. I don't know. He's a little fucking soft now. I don't know. My boyfriend and I like to smoke weed before sex. It's great, but my mouth gets so dry that I feel like I give him terrible blowjobs. How do I produce more saliva while stoned? I can't help you with that. And I know Greg isn't a fucking.
No, you know what's funny?
Is
this the same guy changing girl and making?
I don't know. If we're getting the female,
what kind of question?
Something's different. I can't help you on that one. I guess the weed gives you, have more fun. You're stoned, you get laid.
You want to get more saliva? Just have your boyfriend sit there and eat a lemon, and you get a whole mouth.
Yeah.
Like the little rascal.
Yeah, maybe just like Buddha the Gleam with his pre-com. Remember the Gleam commercial?
Yeah.
I was a little kid. I used to jerk off and think about that.
That girl was hot. Yeah, Farrah Fawcett? No, Farrah Fawcett.
She did one like that too. Yeah, she did one. But there was another blonde broad.
Yeah, she'd lick her teeth and shit. Yeah.
Oh God, dude, I would fuck in my fucking room. Have either one of you ever heard of a BJ with ice cubes?
Of course, I remember. Rippers used to do that shit.
Yeah. Every time I suck my boyfriend's cock, I always fucking make sure I have a mouthful of ice, bro. Every time. It's all good. He likes it like that. It numbs it a little so he lasts longer.
Now you guys are crazy. Who the fuck wants ice cubes on their fucking piece of God, right?
Oh, I'd be happy just to get a fucking blowjob. Jesus Christ. 30 years of marriage. I like the lemon idea. I'll try that.
You need to find out where Snooki used to get those fucking coupons and get one of them coupon books.
Oh,
this is good for one blowjob.
I should leave one on my wife's bed. This is good for one cunnilingus. And she'd
just say, I don't want this. Take it. I don't shop.
I don't shop. So Arlene Kelly, you have to tell us next week. You're obligated to come back on next week and tell us if it worked or not. Try it with your guy. Man, some chick tried to give me head with Altoids in her mouth. Fuck that shit. Altoids are those strong mints that come in a tin box. Then
you burn your piece of then you burn. You burn your fucking. I know.
I mean, it must be hard to do. It almost be like where did it?
Tell her next time. Tell her next time to use Pop Rocks.
That would probably feel good though.
That's what I'm saying. They pop it in a little pop thing.
Yeah, we used to, as kids, we loved that. My meat was on fire for hours. So we're because there's such a strong mint, it burned him a little bit. I would think that it would kind of enhance it a little because it's kind of like floating around in there, and it fucking knocks into your cock a little bit. I don't know. I've never gotten blown with an Altoid.
Next time, take a ejaculoid and she'll regret it. because then you won't.
Yeah.
You know, you have a hard on, it won't go down.
Oh man, you're gonna have a fucking ride for fucking ever. Greg, I have to fucking end this because I don't have the Tide bottle here, and I need to make pee-pees. An ice cube on your asshole during a blowjob is amazing. Don't knock it till you guys try it. I'm gonna have to fucking tell Mrs. P, Mark Foreman. You look like a chick in that picture, though. I don't know, but either way, yes, I agree. I think that does sound fucking hot as hell. Just made an RX Instagram video. LOL. Are you talking about for the
Let's see.
Tell them to accept the collab.
I'll
Greg,
look at
Greg, you're gonna have to tell them to accept the collab so it appears on their thing. I'm curious what you got. Oh, you got to be. You got to be Freak is on Instagram.
Yeah,
too,
I'll look at.
He makes great fucking
Instagram
videos.
Yeah,
That's Ashley Babbitt. I'm a fan of hers. Wasn't Ashley Babbitt the one that cut the boyfriend's dick off?
I don't know why you'd be a fan of that.
On what was his name? John Wayne? No,
John Wayne
John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Bobbitt. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy. He's a murderer. Yeah, he actually did a porno movie after he had his fucking dick reattached. So that's pretty cool that he was able to use it. Glad Lee wasn't in here for this last part of the conversation. He likes that weird shit. Oh God. Yeah, fucking Lee. She's the girl who got shot. Oh, yes.
Oh, wait a minute, Ashley Babbitt. Oh, you're talking about the girlfriend of January 6th. Oh shit.
That fucking empty suit. Fiesto Violo fucking shot her. Those fucking guys. We used to fucking hate the UN cops. They were fucking douchebags. So I can guarantee you the Capitol Police are cunts.
Oh yeah. Some
fuck off, all he is. She was a veteran. Yeah, she was. That was
clear murder. First of all, he took his gun out and walked right up to her and shot her in the head and then ran.
Comes out of the little hallway with it first.
Yeah, he came right out. He walked right up to her, shot her about 3 feet away. Fuck him.
Yeah, that whole thing was a fucking mess, and there's so many conspiracy theories. We can do a whole fucking show on that. But Greg, I gotta tap out because my
Joe,
dick is screaming the piss. Find the toilet, it's saying, kid. What are you doing to me?
I'm gonna have to run too.
So, Greg, I will talk to you. I will fill you in on what's going on with our new sponsor starting next week, Swole Life. I'm very excited, and like I said, we got goodie bags in the mail coming. So I'll let you know when he gives me the heads up that it's en route. But we will be back again, of course, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Dude, we went for 3 hours.
Holy
this is almost like Joe Rogan. Fuck Trump. Oh yeah. Look, just me and Hugo the Claus. Jesus Christ, me and this kid, we were fucking separated at birth. 3 hours, like Rogan, as I'm saying it.
That's he just said it.
I gotta head out. Gotta do some replumbing at the house. See you next week. Agree. Thank you for watching and all the content.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. I appreciate it.
Hugo the Claus, of course, great show. Thank you guys. And Hugo the Claus is the one that did. I'm going to put the other version at the end of the show. He gave us 2 versions of Greg and Joe's show. I want to put it at the end. I didn't get a chance to do it yet. I want to put some pictures. So, like when we end the show, people don't click off. They watch the ending of it. I can see some. I got to find some more funny pictures of us over the years together and all different things. Maybe I'll do some stuff with some of the guests we had on our other shows, pictures of them and shit like that.
Right. I can send it. If you need something too from me, just ask me. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I'm thinking of something cool to do. So while the song's playing, you'll get like a little gallery kind of thing. But next week, Slow Life presents the Greg and Joe show, bro. So great stuff, man. This was awesome. I love that the breaking news thing you did at the beginning was great. I had no idea about that. I gotta catch up on some of this stuff. I want to watch the after hours. So if we want to comment on it again ever down the road, I have a little more knowledge base on it. And I'm definitely going to try to get fucking, what's his name on this show to talk about that. What's his camera? Help me out here. The guy that was on RX. The guy
you're talking about John Roberts, Anthony Roberts.
Anthony Roberts. I'll say Patrick Arnold. Anthony Roberts. I always mix up because the last name is a first name.
I know Patrick.
So
by the way, he's
clear. Yeah,
he is.
He makes some good shit though.
He wants Kamala Harris. Whoops. He wants Kamala Harris. But anyway,
bad. Fuck him. Trump won. All right, man. Greg, I love you, bro.
Right,
I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll see you next week, man.
See you next
Take it
week,
easy,
guys.
guys.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
guys. All right.
Thanks.